In July 2006, 31-year-old father of two, Matthew Podolak, went to the doctor's office complaining of severe back pain and was given medication for kidney stones. 4 days later, Matt was rushed to a Cleveland, Ohio hospital in agonizing pain. On July 31st, he passed away. Some of Matt's friends and family noticed that his wife Holly McFeeture behaved strangely at his funeral. When she used his bank card to empty his bank accounts in the days after his death, she was charged with 2 counts of forgery. The coroner determined that Matt had died of antifreeze poisoning. However, the coroner could not determine they were dealing with a homicide, so the case went cold. Then, Cleveland police received a tip from one of the boyfriends Holly had been seeing after Matt's death. The tipster alleged that Holly had admitted that she had laced Matthew's raspberry tea with antifreeze. In July 2012, investigators bring Holly down to the station for questioning.
This is Detective Robert Moore.
Hello.
Hi, nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
This is Holly McFeeture.
How you doing?
You take a seat in that gold chair there.
Right.
Holly, we're investigating the death of Matthew Podolak. The coroner's office has ruled it a homicide.
Correct.
County prosecutor has made a decision to send the case to the grand jury against you. So I'm going to read you your rights now so that you understand them.
Right.
Okay. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will be used against you in a court. You have the right to counsel with a lawyer before answering any questions and to have a lawyer with you during any questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be provided for you free of cost if you want one. Do you understand your rights as I have explained them to you?
Yes.
Are you willing to talk with officers without consulting a lawyer or having a lawyer present with you?
It's fine. I mean,
All right. Now, we also have the rights up here on the wall, and I'm just going to ask that you read it so that you understand it, so there's nothing that I missed.
okay. I just have a question. If this was the way it was going to be, why didn't you just tell me? I mean, like.
No, remember I told you, I said you could either give a statement or you could decline to give a statement.
Oh.
You don't have to give me a statement now.
Oh, like right now?
Right now, we're going
Oh,
to
I
take your
thought there was
statement.
like questions and stuff. You said that there was like police reports and stuff you wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to go over
answer.
stuff, but that's all part of the investigation.
Oh. Okay. Well.
I mean, it's up to you. If you want to give us a statement about it, we're going to ask you questions.
That's fine. I mean, I don't have anything to hide. I didn't do anything, so.
Okay.
I mean, if I don't feel comfortable answering a question, I can just say.
You say I decline to answer, or
Oh, okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
I mean, you don't have to give me a statement at all if you don't want to. You can have an attorney with you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me just get some basic stuff in here.
Okay.
How old are you?
32.
Holly's Holly.
Correct.
You have a middle initial?
A.
McFeeture.
Yes. MCF. BBTURE.
All right, and I have to read you. This says you may or may not be charged with aggravated murder before making any written statement that may be used against you at the time of your trial. We wish to repeat these instructions prior to our oral interrogation. That you have the right to counsel appointed or retained before interrogation, that you have the right to remain silent, and that anything you say may be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present while making the statement. You understand your rights as stated above?
Yes.
And do you care to make any statements?
Sure. I'll
Okay.
answer questions.
Detective Moore has been investigating this case, so I'm going to let him sort of lead this statement. And then as we go along, I'll probably have some questions later on too.
That's fine.
Okay.
These events occurred in the year 2006, 2008, 2008,
2008.
was 2006.
No, he passed away in 2006.
Okay.
The year my son was born.
Okay. You guys were living together?
Mm-hmm.
What was the address out there when you guys were living?
And when were you guys living there? How long do you remember?
We moved in. Hold on. It was like August of 2003. I was pregnant when we moved in there. Yeah, I think I want to say it was August. We moved in there in 2003.
And when you say we, it's
It was me, Matthew, and my daughter, Michaela.
how do you spell Michaela? What is it? M-I-C.
It's Michael with an A. Michaela.
Okay.
At that point in time, were you guys renting a home or buying a home?
We rent.
We rent.
Mhm.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Okay.
At the home, were you having any type of troubles with the house?
With the house itself,
That's correct.
there was always minor things that, I mean, off the top of my hand, no. I mean, nothing offhand that I could think. Oh, wait, there was the carpet. There was one time that the hot water tank, I think it was a hot water tank, I don't remember, something with the basement and the carpet. We had to deal with that. I mean, problems, no.
Okay.
No problems with the house.
No problem. No problem with the house.
Okay.
And from that point, who would do the cooking at the house?
The cooking,
Cooking.
I cooked. Once in a while, he would cook. But I did most of it.
Okay.
Well, now, what type of food would you cook when you cook that? For lunch, breakfast, or whatever?
Everything. I mean, there's nothing I really can't cook.
Okay.
I mean, make a lot of he liked Italian dishes, so I would make Italian dishes. It wasn't like all macaroni and cheese or hot dogs or anything like that. I mean, I cooked. I mean, during, for a while there, I was working, so he would come home and he would cook depending on, like, the schedules, you know what I'm saying? And then when Joshua was born, I stayed home, so pretty much I did all the cooking, unless on the weekends he wanted to cook.
Now, what type of beverages would you guys drink?
Water. He drank pretty much water or juice, that was it.
What type of juice?
Juicy juice.
Juicy juice in a box?
No, it was juicy juice in a bottle. We got it free from WIC,
Okay.
but we really didn't drink a lot. He would take it to work.
Oh, he worked? Where did Matthew work?
It's industrial.
What type of beverages did you drink?
We mostly drank water at home. That was pretty much it. That or milk.
And juicy juice?
Juice, yeah, juicy juice. Comes
Mostly
in a-
water?
Yeah, mostly water at home. He drank a lot of coffee at work, so when he was at home, he would strictly drink water or milk. He drank milk with his meals.
Okay.
Did you ever prepare him lunch at work? Or did you ever go back, bring him lunch at work?
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again.
Did you ever bring him lunch to his job?
I did twice when I was pregnant with Samantha. Other than that, no, I never went to his work. It was too dirty and it's a factory.
Mhm.
So no, twice. That was it. That was when I was pregnant with Samantha. So that was 2003. I did that. 2004.
So you never brought him no lunch after 2003?
Mm-mm. No, not after 2000. When I was pregnant with Samantha, that was the only time I ever took lunch to him. And it was 2 times.
Well, how would he eat lunch?
He would take it.
Okay.
He would take any leftovers. And I
Oh.
would pack him a big thing and he would share with all the guys at work. He would take all the leftovers to work with him and he'd
Oh.
share with all the guys.
Okay. That's 6 days a week, 5 days a week?
So a lot of times he worked 5 days a week, or 6 days a week. Sometimes, a lot of times he'd work Saturdays. Otherwise, all the guys would go and buy lunch from somewhere. There was some pizza place down the street. When Tops was still open, they'd go to Tops. When Tops was still open, then Tops closed after he passed away. There was a lunch wagon that came there every day. He'd get breakfast and lunch off of there a lot of times. Yeah, if he didn't take leftovers, he bought wherever around there. Plus, I think there were vending machines, I think he said.
At the job?
I think so, yeah. I think that's what he said.
Okay.
At that point, did you work anywhere? Were you employed?
Mm-hmm. I worked at Tops Finest.
Which is the Tops, was it? Fine.
Well, it used to be Finest and now it's Tops. Well, it was. They
No,
closed.
when you were employed.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
It was when it closed. It was Tops. It's the same company. They just changed the name. Yeah, I worked.
The Finance is Tops?
They changed the name.
You were working on Tops back then. When did you work? Do you know the time period?
I worked for them for 13 years, 95 until 2006.
Okay.
Now, what was your job classification?
GM manager
You the boss?
of that department, yes. Health and beauty aids.
What was the title?
GM manager.
Okay.
At that job, you have some kind of type of insurance?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I have health insurance, medical, dental, stuff like that. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yes, I had medical and dental.
We were covered.
Okay.
Did you and Matthew ever have any fights? Physically?
Yeah, there were a couple.
Did you call police?
I know on one time I called the cops. We were during a separation period. And I had a friend over and he came home and he didn't like to see him there. I had to call the cops on him then. But he didn't hurt me. There was one time, I know when you said there was 2 police records, I only know one that I can remember.
Okay, did you and Matthew have any fights, physical? Did you call the cops? So you remember calling police one time?
Yeah, I don't remember calling him twice. There was a time where he punched me in the chest when I was pregnant with Joshua. I don't remember if I made a police report at that point or not.
Pregnant with Jessica?
Joshua.
Gotcha, I'm sorry. Did you go to the hospital or anything when that happened?
No.
Excuse me. I'll call you right back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks. All right.
What's your badge number?
836.
Okay, last question was, did you and Matthew have any fights, physical? Did you call the cops? I remember calling the police one time. One time he punched me in the chest when I was pregnant with Joshua. I didn't go to the hospital.
Yes.
So one time he called the police. Was there other times that you got in a fight and you didn't call the police? Or
Well, we're not perfect. We got in
Sure,
disputes.
no.
We got in disputes, yeah. Nothing worth calling the cops over.
okay. Okay.
From these fights you guys had with Matthew and yourself, did it cause you to go to the hospital?
Never.
Never?
Mm-mm.
Did it cause you to ever have a miscarriage?
No.
Okay.
So how many times, you had mentioned earlier, Matthew had caught you at the house with a particular guy he didn't like, or guy
It was a friend of mine.
he didn't like the guy?
It was because he assumed something was going on when that wasn't the case. I had a friend over, we were talking, and he came home and he didn't like it. He got jealous because I had a friend over.
So did Matthew ever have any kind of enemies?
At work, at work, from what he would come home and tell me, there was a lot of people there that he didn't get along with. He was considered one of the supervisors. And, I mean, he would come home and there'd be scratches all the time on his car from people keying his car and stuff, or damaging it, what have you. He would tell me different stories upon, like, how him and so-and-so would get in a fight, you know.
So-and-so got a name?
No, he never told me names. He would use words that I'm not going to say right now.
Can you spell them out?
He would use the N-word all the time when he was referring to people. He worked with a lot of black men.
At his job?
Yes, in the factory.
Okay, so he has a lot of black guys at his
Yes,
job.
and he didn't get along with a lot of them.
Any particular reason?
I don't know. He would just say that, well, no, because Matt was a supervisor, and if he would go up to them and tell them, listen, you're not doing something properly, they would get in a fight.
Okay,
You know what I'm
so
saying?
well, at these fights, did anybody call the police at these fights?
No, not that I'm aware of. No.
I'm quite sure that's a union shop.
Union?
Mhm.
No, it's not union.
Non-union?
No, yeah, no. Not
But
union.
nobody at the shop called the police.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was just like verbal stuff. I mean, nothing physical. There was
But you-
nothing ever physical.
If you say he scratched his hand, scratched the car, right?
No, they keyed his car.
Keyed the car.
Yeah, they keyed his car. But there's no cameras in the garage, so there was no one ever to say who did it. See what I'm saying? No.
No.
Okay. He would come home. He would tell me, like, you know, whatever. He would come home and just vent from work. That's what he would do. And he
You
would,
got some girlfriends and wives and for?
no, it's fine. I'm not complaining. I don't know names. He would never say names. The only names I knew were the people that he like worked with on a daily basis. There was Sharon and Mike.
Were sharing the mic key in his car?
I don't know who keyed his car. He would just say, "Come here, you gotta see this. There's another key scratch in my truck." That's what I would get when I would come. You know what I mean?
He wasn't making that up, huh?
Not that I would imagine he wouldn't lie about it. Why would he lie about something like that?
No.
No, he would come home and no, there's no cameras in the parking garage, and it's only employees because you have to have a key to get into the parking garage, so it's obviously an employee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I mean, he would come home and vent. That's the kind of stuff I would hear. Other than that, I got nothing.
Okay. So now how many times would he come home and find people at the house that he didn't like and make them leave and get upset with you?
Just that one time.
On one time?
Mhm.
In 5 years?
It was only 3 years.
3 years?
Mhm.
Now what hospital, did he ever go to any particular hospital? Did he ever become sick or anything?
No, if he got sick, he didn't want to go.
He never wanted to go to the hospital.
No, he was a very stubborn man.
Is he?
He wouldn't go to the doctor for anything. If he got sick, he would tough it out. He refused to go to the dentist. He hadn't gone to the dentist since he was in the military. That was the last time. No, the only time he was ever walked in a hospital was when I gave birth.
Yeah.
It's the only time.
So from the year of 2000 when you guys met, 2003 when you guys met, until the day he passed away, he never go to the hospital.
Oh wait, no, there was something for work. He had to get stitches. He got hurt at work.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did he end up getting stitches? I'm trying to remember if he got stitches or not. I don't think he totally needed to get stitches. I don't remember. I think he may have gotten stitches. He went to the doctor one time, and that was at the end, because I begged him to go, because he was sick.
He got sick? How did he get sick?
That was the problem. We didn't know. He was sick for like 3 weeks, and he was having problems.
From what to what? What month? What
It
month?
happened in July.
July.
Everything happened in July.
You went to the doctor before he died? You
Yeah.
went to the doctor?
On Thursday. and because he was having issues going to the bathroom.
What day did he die on? Was it a Friday?
He passed. No, it was Monday, 31st, July 31st. Yeah, it was Monday
So
because we went to the
when you
hospital
say-
Sunday
When you
night.
say Thursday,
He finally went to the doctor
on Thursday, you know, so what was the date on that then?
Thursday. I don't know. 31st, 30th, 29th, 28th, 27th would be Thursday, right? 27th.
27th of July?
So, yeah. He went to,
He went to the doctor before he died on Thursday, 27th of July 2006, because he went there because
he was having problems. He was concerned at he was having lower back problems, and we all told him, because Sharon was begging him, he was having issues going to the bathroom, and he refused to go to the doctor for weeks. He was complaining that he was in pain, his lower back, it was just getting worse. And finally, I was like, that's it. And his friend Russell gave him the name of this doctor to go to, and I took him. We finally went to the doctor, and the doctor did, he talked to him and explained to him the situation. He said, I want to get CAT scans. So we went downstairs and we got CAT scans to see his kidneys, see if he had kidney stones, because the doctor said that based on his symptoms that it was kidney stones. And then when we got the test results, they saw little pictures of kidney stones, and he gave him these little packets of pills that were supposed to help dissolve them. I don't remember the name of them. I have one at home because I kept everything. They were Urella. I don't know. It was a blue packet, and it made your pee turn green. That's all I remember, because we were laughing about it in the bathroom.
they gave him pills.
They gave them, they were little packets, and it was supposed to help dissolve the kidney stones.
Okay, that was on the 27th.
Yeah, that Thursday at the doctor's.
What hospital did you go to?
He didn't go to the hospital. He went to a place over on Rockside. It was a little medical building.
Any particular person you saw over there?
It was the doc. I don't remember the doctor's name. I'm sure it's on the medicine at home. I don't remember him. It was somebody that his buddy referred him to. He was seeing a therapist. He was seeing a doctor for what they call it. He went to. What was the original reason why he went to go see him? Oh, for depression and stuff like that. He went to the doctor. I never went with him. I have that prescription bottle at home as well. And he prescribed him something, I don't know if it was an antidepressant or whatever, and then he recommended him to go see this psychologist, I don't know, whatever one can't prescribe medication, whatever one that is. I know there's two different ones. And he was going to see him for a while. This started, it was after Josh was born. We went to him for about 5 or 6 months. That was winter. It was winter when we first started. Well, we would do couples a couple times. He allowed us to do it together. But that was because, and that's when that whole situation, when he punched me in the chest. And that's why I don't remember if I made a police report or not, because I threatened him that if he didn't go and get help, that I was gonna leave him. And that's when he started going to that other doctor. So listen, there's obviously a problem, because I know he had to have been bipolar. They didn't do tests on him or anything, but he would have like highs and lows. You know what I mean? Like 1 second he could be happy-go-lucky, and the next minute just fly off the handle for no reason. And that was when he touched me.
So to you, any person that don't go along with what you say is bipolar?
No, it wasn't that. It's just when he got upset. I mean, he like flew off the handle. I mean, no, it wasn't me that was always upsetting him. It could be about anything that would upset him. I mean, he didn't get along with his family at all. Him and his family wasn't very close, so he'd get off the phone with his mom. He'd be fighting with his mom all the time, and I'd be on the other end of it. I'm the one who has to calm him down and be like, listen, it's okay, you know.
So
we're going to get through it. That's why he started going with therapist.
So Matthew and his family never got along?
They did not have a close relationship, him and his family at all. Not at all. I mean, no. Like, we literally saw his family maybe 5 times a year.
Now you're the mother of how many children?
Of mine?
Now you're the mother of how many children?
Me? 3.
Is Matthew the father of all your children?
2.
Which?
The 2 youngest ones, Samantha and Joshua.
Where's the other kid?
Would you say you have 3 children?
She has a total of 3 children.
Yeah.
2 are by Matthew, and 1 is by a guy who's in prison.
He's not in prison.
He's out now?
No, where'd you get prison from?
Where's he been?
He's off with his girlfriend somewhere, I don't know.
So he's still been in prison?
No, he was in jail for like 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like way back when, in 99 or something.
What's the birthday for your children?
The 2 youngest ones?
Right.
Read that again.
Joshua is and Samantha.
Samantha is. Okay.
Did you name Michaela's or not?
So put them all. One's McKids.
Mm-hmm. 98.
Okay.
Now Matthew was healthy until what month? You say he started having troubles?
In July.
And what year?
06.
Until July of 06? Same month that he died?
Yeah.
All this happened in 1 month?
Yeah. I mean, that's how quick, and he wouldn't go to the doctor. It was like 3 months. 3 weeks, and he wouldn't go to the doctor. We begged him, like even people that he worked with, he wouldn't listen to any of us to go to the freaking doctor.
Well, while he was at his house, who called 911 to get him to the hospital?
Me.
Oh, you called?
Mm-hmm. I was there with the kids. It was Sunday night.
Who called 911 the day to get him to the hospital?
Me.
She said she did.
Okay.
So When Matthew got sick and went to the hospital, what hospital did you go to?
Harma,
Did you go in the ambulance with him?
they wouldn't let me. I had to drive separately.
Okay, you say you went to Parma Hospital?
Yes.
They won't let you ride with them?
No.
You fought like you were, let's see, they won't let you. You felt like followed in your own car or something, or?
Yeah, I had to follow. I actually got there before they did.
Did Matthew ever tell you what made him sick?
No, he didn't know what was.
Did you know what made him sick?
No.
Did Matthew ever tell you what made him sick? No, he didn't know, and I didn't know either.
So when you got to the hospital, what did the doctors tell you?
They said it was his kidneys. They said his kidneys were shutting down, and that they were going to have to do dialysis on him. And this happened. They told us this. It was like, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night when he came back and finally told us this. And we thought they were going to start dialysis right away. But they didn't start it till the next morning. And then they started dialysis. Well, so much had happened in like that period of time. I mean, I could go through the whole situation if you'd like me to.
I don't like for you to.
Okay. Okay, so we arrived at the hospital. I had Joshua with me because I was nursing, so my parents couldn't take him. His dad met us there, so it was me and his dad. Matt was okay, like he was there, but he was all glassy-eyed. I mean, like how he was at the house. That's why I called 911. They made him do urine in the thing. They took his urine, and that's when they said his kidneys were shutting down. He was in a lot of pain, so they gave him some drug to help him relax. Well, when they did that, he kind of passed out from it. And I remember specifically the guy saying, well, that was kind of weird. They usually don't normally pass out that quick. I'm like, well, that's something to be alarmed about. He said, no, just let him. He's in a lot of pain. This will help him sleep. So that's when they later on they came back and the doctor told us that it was his kidneys, that they were going to have to do dialysis. And I said, okay, so when are they going to start that? Well, as soon as I don't remember the name of the person who does the dialysis. As soon as one is available, they'll come down and they'll start it. Okay. Well, they went to go and wake him up. He wasn't waking up. And they were all panic stricken. And they had to give him some other medication to reverse what had happened. Reverse the medication that the pain. I don't remember if it was morphine. I don't remember. They reversed it with something, and he still wasn't waking up. And all of a sudden, they checked his heart because they were concerned about his heart because they have how they have you hooked up to all that stuff. It kept going back and forth, so they checked it, and his heart started acting weird, like the rhythms were off. and they said his potassium level was low. So they needed to give him potassium, like some liquid stuff, and he drank it. And that was the first thing he had said in like hours. He said that stuff tastes like that. I specifically remember that. It was so funny because we all started laughing because we couldn't get him to wake up. And that was the reason why he wasn't waking up, because his heart was all screwed. After that, they sent us home. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. They put him in ICU. They sent me and his dad home. They're like, listen, you need to go home and get some sleep. If anything changes, we'll call you. Just come back in the morning. So I got home. I went to bed. At like 6 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call from the hospital. They're saying, you need to come back to the hospital. I said, what's wrong? They're like, you just need to come to the hospital. So I get to the hospital.
Hospital called you at 6 a.m.?
The hospital called me. And they're like, you need to come in. I said, okay, what's going on? And they're like, we can't tell you that over the phone. You just need to come in. So I raced to the hospital. He's in ICU. The nurse met me in the hallway and said, we need to put a stent in his heart, a temporary stent, something, I don't remember what it's called, a temporary something for his heart, because they were having issues with his heart. And they took me to the waiting room. They're like, you need to wait right here. So I didn't hear anything back for a little bit, so I went back in. I said, what the hell's going on? And they're like, well, we can't do the stent now because his heart isn't keeping this, his heart wasn't cooperating to where they could go in and put the temporary thing in. They had him on a breathing machine. That doctor we went to go see on Thursday was there. He walked me back to the waiting room and he said, he's seriously sick. I said, well, I don't know what the hell's going on because no one's telling me anything. I said, can you please tell me what's going on? And he said, his body's shutting down. And I said, well, how is all this happening? We were just with you Thursday. You told us you just had kidney stones. So how the hell's all this stuff going on? And then he's like, I'm going to go get more information. I'll be right back. So sitting there with my son still, trying to call Matt's dad, trying to get a hold of him. He finally answered his phone because I guess when the hospital called, he didn't answer his phone. He finally got there. At this point, I just remember going back and forth to that room and they kept kicking me out because no one was telling me anything. And I had my son, I was there by myself, just trying to figure it was the worst 24 hours ever. That's all I can really say. Everything just, it was one thing after another. One thing was shutting down after another. I had nurses, doctors telling me what they were doing. I said, well, just do whatever the hell you have to do. I said, what happened to the stent? They were going to try and do the stent again. That didn't happen. Finally, his mom showed up at like 10 o'clock or something. I don't even remember what time she finally showed up. And they were starting dialysis. They started dialysis because she walked in right when they were going to start dialysis. Things calmed down to a point where they could start the dialysis. And they did dialysis for about 20 minutes, half hour before they came back out and said, it's helping, it's working, everything's looking up. And then they had to take him off the dialysis machine because his heart started giving out again. There was people all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It was in and out. I kept going in and out. Finally, they let me just sit at the nurse's station with Joshua because it was driving me up a wall. Because every time they were changing something, it was just nonstop. It was one thing after another.
Did you give Matthew any type of poison?
No.
Did you give Matthew any type of brake fluid?
Brake fluid? No.
Did you give Matthew any type of antifreeze?
No.
Well, what the hell
This is
made
my fee.
Matthew Matthew ill?
That's a good question. We were told it was kidney stones.
Okay.
That's what we were told.
Okay.
And then when everything happened and they did the autopsy, that's when they said that it was something else.
Oh, you said, did you give Matthew any type of brake fluid or what else?
A brake fluid was the first one. Poison was the second one. And the third one was antifreeze. The no was the response to all three. Right?
Correct. This is the father of my children. My fiancé. The person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I'm not going to hurt him in any way possible.
Did Matthew have any reason to take his own life?
No.
Was he insured?
Is he what?
Insured?
Medically or
No.
like life insurance?
Life insurance, 401k.
Under the impression that I was aware of until after he passed away, as far as I knew, the only thing he had at work was his 401k plan. I didn't find out that he had life insurance until at the funeral home when his uncle told us. Because he had a life insurance policy. It was some guy's name or whatever. I just remember him borrowing against it at one point to buy Christmas presents the one year. And he liked to hunt. So that was one of the things we'd always go over before he would leave. Is everything in order? Because I've known way too many people who've lost significant others or dads from hunting accidents. And as far as I know, he had gotten rid of his life insurance policy.
Okay.
I didn't even know he had one through work. The only thing I knew is the 401k, and the only reason why I knew that was because he got a letter in the mail the one time, and he said, look, this is my 401k, this is, because he explained it, because it's his uncle's company that he worked for.
Okay.
And he said, look, see, this is how much this is, and it was like $4,000 or whatever.
Now, when you worked at Tops or Finest, did you have any, you had an insurance policy there also for employees?
Yes, I have life insurance on myself.
But you didn't have no life insurance on Matthew?
No.
The children? Did you have insurance on the children?
Do I? Yes. I have it on it. Yes. After all this, everyone's covered. Life is no way. I don't know.
Okay, let's go back for just a second. Did Matthew have any insurance? He had a 401k.
That's the only thing I knew of until the funeral home.
And at the funeral home, you found out.
That he had a life insurance policy. And he didn't, at the time, he didn't know who the beneficiary was.
Well, at the funeral home, you found out who the beneficiary was, right?
No, he didn't know. He just said, yes, he's got life insurance, and
But did
I
you
have to look
subsequently
into
find
it.
out who the beneficiary was?
We found
Who
out
said
after
that?
the
His
funeral.
father?
His uncle.
Or his uncle?
Because it was his uncle's company. He was there at the funeral home and said,
You remember
Because
his
his-
name?
Jim Siliberto. Because his mom offered to pay.
Siliberto? You know how to spell it?
Siliberto. CILABERTO. It's Italian. So, yeah, that sounds right.
Siliberto?
Yeah. If I
He told
write
you.
it.
He told you that he had a life insurance policy.
His mom asked if because she looked at me. She's like, "Does he have a insurance policy?" I said, "As far as I know, no. All he's got is the 401k." And that's where his uncle said, "No, he's got a life insurance policy and the 401k through the company because his mom offered to pay for the funeral."
And the beneficiary was who?
It ended up being me. We found that out after the funeral. Me,
Ended up being Holly.
correct.
Later on, you found out you were the beneficiary.
Correct.
were you paid on that policy?
Just in December, yeah. This past December.
December 2009?
Correct.
How much?
10,000. There was a little bit more because of interest. I don't remember the exact amount. Because attorney fees and all that stuff. That's what it was for. Was
What about his 401k?
That's like $4,000 or something. I've never received it. They're still trying to put it in my name so it could just sit there.
You never got any of his 401?
No, I was just told just to put it in my name and just let it sit there. That's all I was told.
It's in
My
your name?
lawyer, no, it's not. My lawyer is still working on it because his uncle is refusing to. His whole family's been fighting it since day one.
You never got any of that money then, so far, right?
For the 401k? Well, no, it's just gonna sit there anyway.
Well, I mean, you can take out money on a 401k.
I was just told to let it sit. That's all I was told to
And it's in, but is it in your name
do. No,
now?
it's not in my name.
It's in,
It's still in his name.
it's still in Matthew's name?
Yes, it's still in his name.
Okay. What else?
Is it the fact that while you were at the hospital with Matthew, you took his debit card and withdrew some money out of his account?
No, that happened like 4 days after he passed away, and the only reason why I did that was so I could pay the bills.
Isn't it a fact when you left the hospital? Is that it? You left the hospital?
While he was at the hospital.
I'm gonna
Did
guess his family told you that bullshit, because that's just.
No, the family
No, you
never
could
left.
check. You could check. You could check the records. That never happened until after
Well, why
the
did you not write
funeral.
it then?
Because his mother filed charges against me, claiming that I stole
So it's not
money
bullshit,
that
then,
belonged. No, because first of all, that money is our money. That money needed to go towards the bills, and that's where all that money went to. He was the main supporter of our family. He had just deposited his check on Friday. The rent needed to be due on the 5th. All the bills needed to be paid because he hadn't paid anything. Not that everything was just sitting there on the desk. I had to pay all that stuff. Everything was due. That's where every single bit of that money went. All that money. Rent was $800. Gas bill, electric, everything. His whole check went towards bills. It's not like I went on a shopping spree. I love how that was. If I would have fought it, I guarantee I would not have had to pay that money back. And I never fought it.
Well, you got arrested and indicted, so
I didn't get arrested for it.
you did? What they
It's
call it?
not, I don't know. I just know I just did what I was supposed to.
You got arrested
I went and
indicted.
did probate. Well, okay, I don't know the technical terms.
Okay.
I just know that if I would have fought it,
Okay,
and I didn't fight it, and that was stupid.
is it a fact when Matthew was in the hospital, did you take money out of the bank? So no, you didn't do it.
No, I didn't do it
later
while I
on?
was in the hospital. It was after the funeral, and I had to pay the bills and stuff. Okay.
That was from Brooklyn Police Department.
I voluntarily went. He asked if we had come in and answer questions about it, and I said, sure thing. And I wrote a statement exactly what had happened.
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn Dollar Bank. And she filed charges against me saying that that was her money, not mine to take. His mother did.
His mother did? Brooklyn Dollar Bank?
Dollar Bank,
The
yes.
Dollar Bank in Brooklyn.
It's on Ridge Road.
His mother pressed charges.
Because she was the, I forget the technical name, executor or somebody in charge of his estate. She went and filed so she can do all that.
Okay. All right, there's a couple other questions we gotta ask you on here.
Sure.
Do you remember one time being in a bar in Parma with your sister singing about a song from the Dixie Chicks? You know who the Dixie Chicks are?
We do karaoke all the time.
Earl's Gotta Die. You know that song?
Yeah.
And then laughing about it with the reference about an abusive relationship where the female poisons the man and he dies.
It's a song. Yes. It's a karaoke song.
This is the report that was made out with you and Matthew when you made it out and called the police.
Okay, that's the one with Joshua. Yep.
Okay. Well, would you classify your relationship with Matthew as being abusive?
No, I wouldn't call it being abusive. Joshua was very, very, very colicky. Okay, this was the only time he was ever left alone with Joshua by himself. I went to the grocery store. I remember. Came home, Joshua was screaming, and Matt was so upset and started screaming at me that I left him home alone with Joshua. You know that I can't take him crying, you know that it's hard, and I don't know if any of you guys ever been around a colicky baby, but it's not easy. He just doesn't stop crying, and he came up the steps.
That was Joshua, right?
Joshua. He came up the steps, and he was crying, and Matt came up the steps because he was on the computer, and he said, "Take him away from me, so help me God, I'm going to throw him out the window, I can't stand this," and he's sitting there literally holding him, shaking him, screaming at him, telling him to shut up. It just happened in the kitchen. I remember vividly. And I was just in complete shock that to see him like that, just yelling at our son like that. It was very scary. I mean, it was a very scary incident to see him get to that way, to be that way towards his own son. It scared the hell out of me. And he discussed it with his doctor after that. Because that was one of the things he was trying to do, was to learn how to calm down.
And this was March 29th.
Yeah, it was 6.
Did you and Matthew ever live anywhere besides 3213 Archspirit together?
I guess he kind of said he lived with me at the other place before we moved in here.
Where was that
What was the address? It was on Brooklyn Avenue. Me and Michaela lived there. It was a double.
at? And that's in Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
3931.
Oh, there you go.
3931?
I guess so. 31, yeah, Brooklyn. I lived upstairs.
Has 696 Kids ever investigated you?
Yes. was that?
What was that about?
She claimed that I was abusing. They got a phone call with Michaela.
Who's she?
The lady. I don't remember. her
Social
name.
worker?
Yeah, that one. Claimed that I was mentally and verbally abusing Michaela. I can only guess it was one of two neighbors because I smacked her on the driveway because she was talking back to me. So I abused my children apparently.
I'll call you back in 10 minutes.
And they found it to be
Nothing. They talked to everybody. They talked to
unfounded.
teachers. They talked to everybody, and no, I don't abuse my children. If anything, they abuse me. I'm too lenient on them. And the one time I smacked my child, and I get called on. So. I have a letter at home for that. Actually, I saved it.
You smacked her in the driveway one time.
Yeah, I remember the day exactly. She wanted to take the dog to the park with us because we were going to go to the park. I had to go to the chiropractor, and we were going to go to Brooklyn Park afterwards. And she wanted to know if she could take the dog. I said, yeah, you can take the dog, no problem. You and the dog could sit in the car while we're at the chiropractor. Well, then it dawned on me, you're not allowed to take dogs to Brooklyn Park. And I told her, I said, we're going to Brooklyn Park. You can't take the dog. I'm sorry. You're not allowed dogs there. And she got all nasty with me. I said, go put the dog on the leash. We're leaving. I had to
So
do
you
that.
argued about the
We
dog.
argued about it. She got out. She put the dog on the leash. She's like, I'm staying here. And she was sitting there just running her mouth. And I got out of the car, grabbed her arm, and said, let's go. We're leaving. No, I'm not going to. And I smacked her in the mouth. Very simple. She was talking back to me. I'm not going to have my daughter talk to me that way. And one of the neighbors, I don't know who, but apparently that's abuse when you're disciplining your children. So I got called on.
Have you ever told anyone that you put something in Matthew's drinks, or when you wanted to stop putting something in his drinks, his kidneys started to fail?
Excuse me, no. No. I never put anything in his drink, so I would never say I did.
Okay, did you ever pull a gun on Matthew or try to run him over with the car?
I never pulled a gun on him because he's the one who had the guns. And no, I tried to get out of the driveway one time and he was behind me. I never tried to run him over.
He was the one that had the guns.
He had his guns all wherever. I don't have a gun.
And one time he was behind you in the driveway or something?
I was trying to get out. It was the time when we were fighting and he wouldn't let me leave. I never attempted to run him over.
Do you remember telling somebody that Matthew had beaten you up and degraded you all the time and beat you so bad that you had a miscarriage?
No. I've never had a miscarriage. How could I? No. There was the one time he hit me, and I just told you when it was, when he punched me in the chest. The only time that he would ever, say mean things is when he was upset about something. But he called me fat. Great.
Is it the fact that you poisoned Matthew?
No, it's not a fact, because I didn't do it. I didn't do that.
Isn't it a fact that you have dated several Cleveland Police Department officers?
I dated one.
And which one is that?
Chuck Lipscomb.
For how long?
11 months, 10 months, together.
Do you remember when the time period was? Roughly.
It was, I want to say it was October, end of October, maybe the beginning of November of 06 to 07. Like October, no, it was before that, August of 07.
What happened to the rest of the gang?
Guys,
The police?
we come up. I only dated one guy.
Oh,
I have a lot of friends,
oh.
but I only dated one.
What else? Anything else?
That's about it.
Okay. Did any member of the Cleveland Police Division threaten you or promise you anything in exchange for your statement?
No.
Was the above statement given voluntarily to the police to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs at this time?
No.
Is there anything that you do not understand at the time of the statement?
No.
Did anyone induce you to make this statement, or you promised anything in exchange for this statement?
No.
Do you care to add anything further to your statement?
I mean, I don't know. There's so many things that I don't know that if you guys know. And I mean, I've been totally in the dark with this whole situation. Like as far as his family, I don't know what you guys know. I mean, did you guys? I don't know. All I know is what my PO told me as far as everything that you guys have found so far. As
Your
far as
PO?
my probation officer for that money situation.
No.
She's the one who told me about how they found, I knew about the autopsy report, but anything after that,
The PO told you about this?
about how I'm like the number one suspect, and they came in and did a whole bunch of handprints on me because, I don't know, some more checks were being written or something under Matthew's account, and I mean,
Well, how many checks did you write on his account?
I only wrote one, but this was after the fact. They did nothing. I didn't do anything after that. No, anything, and his mom took over everything. So if anything happened, that was all on his mom. She took everything.
So why you hate her so much?
Why do I hate her? I want to say I hate the woman. I just like her.
Why you just like
She's
her?
not a very nice woman. She. do I say this? I think the reason why, I don't know. She's not a very nice woman. She's put me and my children through a lot of crap now for the last 4 years. She was never even there for her own son as far as being a mother. I mean, if you knew your son was in the hospital, very ill, wouldn't you try to be there as soon as possible? It was me and his dad. That's it. The whole situation disturbs me on so many levels, just because I don't know. I just don't think you understand. If you ask me, this whole situation stinks to high heaven, because it's in my heart, the way from what I gather, from what I know of everything, and yes, he had kidney problems. I think a lot of it has to do with his uncle's plant, the paint he used and stuff like that. He never wore a mask. He absorbed that stuff for 9 years, 10 years he worked there. The coroner was the only one that would ever talk to me as far as anything in order to find out what God really happened to him. This is a man who I loved. He's the father of my children. Everything just crashed in front of me. Everything. Dreams, our goals, everything. My whole life has completely been changed upside down. And I know nothing. And his family just despises me and does nothing but speak evil. And they've never helped or anything, even when he was alive. They were just... Matt was like the black sheep of the family. His brother was like the golden child. So, anything that his family says about me, I don't know. I can only imagine. She tried taking my van away. She tried taking everything away from us. Anything that had anything to do with Matt, she tried taking away from me and our kids. It's very disturbing. It was horrible. Seriously. I don't wish it on anybody.
Did Matt not operate a computer?
Did what?
Did Matt not operate a computer?
Yeah, he was on it all the time.
Where's that computer in?
It's in the basement. He used to do online gambling. It's where he spent a lot of his time.
Okay.
He enjoyed it. It was his relaxation period from work.
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
What bar was that in that we did that?
You don't know?
No, I honestly don't. We do karaoke all the time. It's something we do. I have karaoke at my bar that I work at.
It was something that came up for, we had to ask about it.
Well, no, that's fine, but we do karaoke all the time. It's not like we sing songs from A to Z.
Not against a lot of kids do karaoke.
Well, what bar you work at?
Mr. Peabody's. It's on Pearl and Wetzel. And we have karaoke. I sing there too. It's... Wow. I sang a song. Is it true they found a cup at his work?
Found what?
A cup. That's
Cup
what.
of what?
That's what she told me. They found his big coffee cup. He had like this huge mug that he would use for water or juice while he was working at work. And she told me that they found a cup that was like lined with this kind of stuff.
Who was the sheep?
The PO lady.
Oh.
I can't remember her name. It's like 3 years ago I had to do this.
You don't have to report to her anymore.
Oh God, no. I had to do 6 months and that was it. She got everything. She was the nicest woman ever. She was very nice to me.
We're going to print this up or try to print it up if we can, and have you read it. You can sign it.
Everything we just did.
Everything we just talked
Literally.
about. So,
It would be like 20 pages.
it's only 4 pages.
Oh.
Everything was video and audio taped. And this is a summarization of the whole conversation that we had.
Today?
Yeah, just now. So read that over. If you see anything that's doesn't look right or whatever, we'll correct it.
Want some water or something?
No, I
You don't know
had I don't have a very good stomach. Like I ate a all beef hot dog and I had bad indigestion. I'm sorry.
You don't have
I'm
any,
so
you don't
sorry.
have any indigestion like Matthew. Do you?
I'm sorry. And he didn't have indigestion problems. He did that. Guy can eat anything. And,
You don't want no
be
water.
amazed. Be amazed.
But you don't want any water.
No, I'm okay, thank you. No, it's just I'm burping it up. That's all. Doesn't taste good. You have a sweet tooth, Matthew. You have the biggest sweet tooth ever.
Yeah.
I used to bake, oh my god, during the winter. Oh, we loved my banana bread.
I'm just gonna sign. You did an excellent job.
I spell your name right on there?
That's correct.
All right.
You did a good job. A wonderful job.
So
So now you're working at Peabody's and you got 3 jobs or 2 jobs?
well, 3 if you consider being a full-time mom. Yeah. 2, I work the market and yeah, it's not easy. I got 3 kids. I gotta take care of the bills.
Time. Pending time.
Oh, okay. What is that?
Yeah. 1550 by the time you read it, sign it.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I just don't have to read.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't
Well,
think you guys would purposely do anything that I mean,
No, that's
No.
we ain't
well,
got-
I mean, I answered. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Like I
tell me
say,
this is going to court. I don't want something to come back.
Yeah, no,
I
read
didn't
it,
read
read it.
properly. And
read it and understand it. This is we're not signing this one because this has the correct time on both sheets. So on this page, they want your
Okay.
signature here. You can sign there. You can just sign right here underneath right there. Let's do it one more time. This is a copy again. Same thing where it says signature. Underneath here on the last one. Okay, like I told you when we started this, the prosecutor ruled that this case is gonna be sent to the grand jury. So they'll hear the facts of this case, they'll make a determination whether or not you'll be indicted. If you are indicted, then they will send you a subpoena in the mail. If you are indicted, that means that there's enough evidence to go forward with some sort of trial. Okay? When you get your subpoena in the mail, make sure that you show up for an arraignment hearing if that's the case. If you don't show up for the arraignment hearing, there'll be a warrant for your arrest. And that's about it right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll walk you on downstairs.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Oh, nice with you too. Good luck.
Take your phone calls. Take your phone call.
Okay.
Holly McFeeture was arrested for aggravated murder and contaminating substance for human consumption. While she awaits trial, investigators build the case against her. They start by interviewing one of her recent boyfriends, Patrick Arch.
Okay. So you've been dating her for, what'd you tell me on the phone, 13 months?
Yeah, 13 months.
How did you meet?
At the market.
At the West Side Market?
Yeah. I was going down there shopping with my ex, and then I was coming down for like a month or so, and she was like, "Oh, no girl with you," kind of like deal. And I said, "No, we broke up." And she's like, "Too bad." And she would start flirting with me, and then one day I gave her my number. She lost some earrings, some diamond earrings that Matt gave her, and she lost a diamond earring in her bedroom. And I said, "You know what? You're going to find it." And she was all upset about it. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, you know what? Here's my number. Let me know that you got it." Kind of like A, picking her up, but B, being concerned. So she texted me. Within minutes, she texted me, "Thank you," and blah, blah, blah. And ever since then, we started talking, and then we started dating. And, I was fully aware she had 3 kids, throughout this, and I knew 2 were with Matt, and I was like, Holly grew up with.
So you started dating back in June of 2011?
Yeah. So my whole family and my friends grew up with Matt's family and her family.
Your whole family and your friends?
But like I'm an Arch, so the Arches lived in that North Brook Park area, old Brooklyn area. And they grew up with the McFeetures, with the Podolaks, with the friends of the friends.
So your parents grew up with her parents?
No. I'm talking my cousins and stuff like that.
Family members?
But I never knew her and I never knew him. And it was like, oh, well, we have this person in common. We have this person. We have this person, blah, blah, blah. So, that's how, we hit it off. But, like I said before, I want to reiterate this, like, I've been at my job forever. I'm 32, never been in trouble besides a parking ticket or a speeding ticket. And I have a job and I'm a up-class citizen. I've been a football and basketball coach for 10 years at the high school level. And
where do you coach at?
The last 7, I coached football and basketball at Cleveland Heights. And then I took this year off because of all this going on and possibly our relationship furthering. So it was, it was a good idea at the time, but it's probably not a good idea now because I'm racking my brain out because I'm not doing nothing but working. And like I said, the only thing that would either be threatening was I was like, I will tell people this, and this, what, you've said about them. But there was never anything threatening like, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to hurt your kids.
You mean as far as your text messaging?
Yeah.
This is when you're breaking up or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and the reason why we broke up was because of this, because it was we broke up first time in June. After a week, she asked me to go out with her again. And
why did you break up in June?
The stress. I mean, his whole family has been telling people since January that this is coming down the pipe. It's antifreeze. It's this. And I'm hearing it from acquaintances. That I know. I'm sitting there, and I'm not a big drinker. I'm at a bar one night, and, people were talking about it next to me. Didn't even know me, and they're talking about it, and the Podolak family was having meetings with Matt's friends and trying to gather up information and trying to bully up against her. And I have people calling me, telling me, you better watch out for this girl. You better watch out. She's going to get hung. She's going to get hung. And it was so many people. And I was like questioning her. I'm like, what's going on? But she did tell me since like Thanksgiving of last year that she was tried for this before and it was thrown out. And, you know, she told me about it. And, you know, I don't know what else you want to know about her. I'll answer any question. I know her better. I know her as good or as if not better than Matt, in my opinion. I mean, we've had a lot of talks about this situation. We've had a lot of talks about her life, a lot of talks about, you know, what's wrong with her. We've had a lot of, you know, it was more like a 13-month relationship, but knowing somebody for 20 years, you know, kind of like deal. Besides Matt, I was the only other guy to supposedly sleep in her bed since then.
Okay. So, what kind of relationship did you have with her over the 13 months? And you guys were really close?
Very, very stressful. Close, but very stressful.
Why was it stressful?
Because of her. I think, in my opinion, she's got a lot of problems. You know, mentally, emotionally unstable. She's very vindictive, deceitful, condescending. She's it's her way or the highway kind of like deal. Mm-hmm. She made it very rough for me to be her boyfriend. She lived different lifestyles. She lived the West Side Market lifestyle. She lived the Facebook lifestyle. She lived the family lifestyle, and then she lived the her and I lifestyle. And it never all blended together. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know.
Was she seeing a psychiatrist or anything like that? Did you know of?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We saw one together because Samantha, the 8-year-old, you know, knew that I was next in line to be her dad, and she didn't want another dad. So Sam would throw these big tantrums and go out of control. I mean, she's 8 years old.
Yeah, sure.
And then so we saw a child psychiatrist, and then I knew Holly was seeing 1 or 2 psychiatrists, and I know she was taking a lot of depression and different medications. She was very.
Was she ever abusive to you or the kids?
No, especially not to the kids. There was times where the kids would throw tantrums and do stuff.
You never got physical with you or anything?
No, she would get very, you know, she'd get angry at everything. I mean, if I cooked spaghetti, it wasn't the way that she cooked spaghetti. If I was to water the flowers, it wasn't the way that she watered the flowers. She wanted to be both the male and the female in the relationship. Uh-huh. And she couldn't handle a guy. Like I said, I'm a good guy. I've been so close with those kids and that family. And the thing about it is I took them in, you know, sticking it out with her. And like I said, I'm a great guy, great catch. And but at 32 years old, you know what kind of person you are. And like I said, she was very heavy medicated person. And mentally, I think, in my opinion, I wholeheartedly believe that I don't think that she did it. But I will tell you one thing. I think she needs a psych evaluation, and I think that she is mentally unstable. She has her good days, bad days. She's in pain, you know, from an auto accident a year or 2 ago.
So she got anger problems?
I wouldn't say anger problems. I think she's she's like a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
You know, anger is like, you know, think taking it out on somebody, punching walls, hurting the kids. It was never that. There was times that the kids would do stuff, especially the 13-year-old, and talk back to her 15 times in 20 minutes. Where my parents back then, and I'm sure your parents back then, would have backhanded you. You know,
you never hurt the kids. Or
never,
like
ever.
That.
And I was with her and the kids all the time. Never hurt the kids at all.
Did you ever hear? So you heard about Matthew. She told you about Matthew? Mm-hmm. What did she tell you about Matthew?
She...
Specifically as far as his death.
She told me that they were together.
Mm-hmm.
She told me that it was really quick that she got pregnant with Sam. That Matt wanted to make it right. And, you know, they were together. A lot of Matt's friends and families did not like her whatsoever. They hated her. And, you know, back then people have told me now, that, she was like the same way, very, very demanding, very condescending, very standoffish, up and down. And Matt, they had the other kid, they tried to make a family, and she told me that, he worked where he worked, he didn't wear a respirator. She said he was working with chemicals, he was working, and you know what, for the Metro Parks, I'm one of the safety point people. You know what, safety is a big thing. And you know what, I worked at Manakiki Golf Course for 7 years. I could be fertilizing the greens. And you know what, you could have a piece of fertilizer fall in your boot. It's happened before to guys, and then they have an allergic reaction, and then they die, or they're not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, why do they make gloves? Why do they make wet masks, especially when it's required? And from my understanding in his job, it was required. He worked in a factory. You work here, you got to wear a gun. You got to wear a badge.
That's coming from her.
That's coming from her, but that's also my interpretation too.
Right. He,
and she did say that he was a very good dad. It was hard for me to step in Matt's shoes. It was very hard. Everything was compared to Matt. She loved Matt. This is why I think that I believe in my heart that she didn't, because she loved him very much. It was hard for me to sleep in her bed. It was hard for her to do things like go to concerts like Rascal Flatts. That was their last concert together. It was when I asked her, let's go Rascal Flatts. She goes, that's one of the last things Matt and I did. She goes, I don't know if I'm ready to do that with you. It was always like, if they did something, she tried to hold on to Matt's legacy or Matt's love as far as she could go. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of Matt's stuff is still at the house. A lot of Matt's stuff she still kept on to. And if you want to know what I know about the family and what I've witnessed about the family, I'll share that with you too.
What about, did you ever hear about any of her other former boyfriends?
Yes, there was a police officer named Chuck that was kind of like in my situation. They dated for a year. It was kind of like right after.
You know his last name?
No, I'm sure Chrissy, the sister, would know.
Okay.
And a lot of people are saying she's a whore, she's this. I don't believe she was. I think it's rumors, in my opinion. I believe she did have sexual partners after that and maybe before that. But you know what though? I'll be honest with you. If you're in a relationship and somebody dies, it's hard to sleep with somebody else. It's hard to have she might have dated guys. Absolutely, she dated guys. But sleeping with guys and having a relationship like we had or like yourself and your wife had, they never had that. She dated those last 6 years. She dated around, yes. But sleeping with them.
The only one you ever heard of was Chuck.
Chuck was the main one besides me.
But she did date around with some guys.
And I mean, going out on dates.
And as far as when you guys started going out, you don't think she went out with anybody else when she was going out with you? Not that you know.
Unless if you know something I don't know.
No.
No.
Okay.
I know we were together every single day. I have to say 5 out of 7 nights a week I was there.
You were together.
Yeah.
Did she ever say anything to you about how Matthew died?
Well,
besides
I told
being
you,
at work and not wearing a mask.
I told you that was pretty much it. That was when she talked about it, she got very emotional about it. She
She ever say anything to you about putting something in his drinks and then she couldn't stop?
No.
Nothing like that.
Not at all. And you know what? If she did, I'm the kind of citizen that would have came to you guys.
What about money problems? Do you have any money problems?
Did she?
Did she have any money problems that you know of?
As a single mother of 3, I thought that she did very well.
Yeah.
Very
She
well.
didn't borrow any money from you?
No. She hated to talk about the money issue.
Did you ever meet any of her family?
Absolutely, all of them. Every single family member and friend
did
that
you
she
meet?
had. Chrissy, Jamie, the family.
Chrissy is her sister.
Yes,
Who was? What'd you say? Jamie.
Jamie, Jam, is her brother-in-law.
He's married to Chrissy.
Yes.
Is that right? Who else?
You want me to keep on listening?
Meet her mother.
Yeah,
What's her mother's name?
Annie.
Annie McFeeture.
Yeah, I could go on Chrissy's Facebook and tell you every single name that I've met.
Did you meet her father?
Yeah, in Florida, my brother got married.
What's his name?
I want to say, I really want to say Bob, but I can find that for you too.
What does she have? Just one sister, right?
Yeah.
No brothers?
No, she's got stepsisters.
She has
She's got
stepsisters?
a stepsister, Amy.
How old is Amy?
I would say mid to late 20s.
So she's younger.
Mm-hmm. She's got a stepfather.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good, Pat. So you guys broke up, you want to say sometime in June this year?
Yeah, and we were still
June.
talking, and I mean, we spent 4th of July together.
And
Her
then
dad
what
lives
was
in
the-
Tampa
What
now.
was the main sticking point when you broke up? Who wanted to break it up? You or her?
Well, it was kind of like mutual.
Mutual?
It was kind of mutual. We broke up June, got back together 3 days later. It was a great 3 weeks, and then July 4th weekend, I started hearing about this stuff, started questioning her. She started being really moody, and I said, I can't take this. I said, I have a girlfriend that, is people are saying she killed this guy. I know she didn't, and this, that, the other thing, and we were fighting. July 4th, right after July 4th, it fell through. But I mean, her last text message was to me, take care, this, that, the other thing, and thanks for what you did to me and my family. I interpreted it as thanks for, because that night is where the news went to her house, and it was like she knew that it was coming. I interpreted it as she's blaming me for this, thinking that I told you guys about it. My parents are, friends with the Masons and political friends and stuff, and I think that she thought that I had something to do with this. Like I was being vindictive because we were breaking up. But the thing about it is this has been going on for 2 years. This investigation's been going on for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we talked until that morning that she was brought into here.
Okay, so it was mutual that you were breaking up, then you got back together again, and then
Right.
this hit
The last 6 weeks from now until 6 weeks ago, it was very back and forth.
So when this came out that she was arrested and everything, this wasn't a total surprise to you.
No. I've had Action 19 News call me, Newsnet 5 call me, call my parents' house, which is unlisted. Not a surprise, but I mean...
To you, she doesn't seem like the type of person that would do something like that.
Absolutely not. But like I said, I do think she is mentally unstable. Either, when people are taking 7-8 pills a day, it could be, what do I want to say? Like, you need to see a pharmacologist. Maybe she, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe she didn't know what pill she was taking.
Right.
She's taking that many of them.
Right.
Yeah, she's indicted for aggravated murder
Mm-hmm.
also for the poison.
Right.
It's 2 separate counts. I'm sure you saw all this, but that her picture in the that's her bookend picture right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's smiling,
She ain't smiling. It's a
like
joke
a smirk or
of
something.
what I think it's like a joke of what she's gone through. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you guys for hours about what she's gone through with this family and with these kids. You just, in my opinion, you just can't answer 9 questions and know somebody. You know, it's not. It's definitely, it's a smirk of, I'm going through this again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, she was never tried before. I know she told you that, but there was no.
Yeah, there was. It was thrown out in
No.
2010 or 11.
No, it wasn't.
Bring it up. It shows you. On the
Oh,
computer.
it was never. Yeah, but it was. It
It
never.
was never tried, but it
That
went
case,
to.
it never even went to the grand jury.
Right,
They gave
but
it a
still-
case number.
They give it a case number, though.
That's all they did.
Right.
She was
That's what
never
I'm saying.
tried. She was
Right.
never tried.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I knew that. I
Um,
mean,
I just can't get over her booking pictures. Like she's smiling about it.
that's her, though. That's her saying she's gone through this with her family again. There's so much stuff out there that people don't know about what she had to go through with this family. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You talk about money issues. There was money issues of her suing for life insurance. You know, the family never helped her and those kids out, ever. I mean, I could write down 100 things for you of what she's gone through.
What were some of the texts that she was sending you recently then?
Just that she wanted to meet me that Monday morning. She wanted to meet me to give me some of my stuff back. And I said no, that
What day was that on, Pat? Does it say?
that Monday.
Was there a date there or no?
Yeah, I got you. It says that Monday or Tuesday, the 24th, I have your heater and stuff. Would you like it? I could drop it off at your house or work. And this is my response. Okay? This is my response. Don't worry about it. I don't need it. I don't need or want anything. That was it. Okay, cool, thanks. I just wanted to thank you, too, for stuff you started, too. You're the best. What stuff that started? That was at 11:44. The news station at the 5 o'clock news went to her house. So she knew this was coming down the pipe. I didn't say
So she's
nothing.
blaming you.
And I said, stuff I started, like, what? I said, you did this, not me. I said,
What did she say to that?
she didn't respond. And I kind of told her what kind of person she was. Like, I mean, you know, but I told you there.
That moody, you mean? And
Mm-hmm. I really think she needed to see a pharmacologist. When you're prescribed 6, 7 pills, 8 pills, and you're taking them daily, no matter if it's birth control, depression, anxiety, carpal tunnel, back problems, it's like liquid.
It's a lot of
It's
pills.
like a liquid. What do I want to say? Like a liquid concoction.
Yeah.
And you know, sir, you talked about the money. I'm going to give you a brief overview about the money.
Okay.
Matt died. The very next day, after the funeral, she calls Holly up. Holly takes the kid over there. Now, Samantha's 2, Joshua's 6 months when Matt dies. The grandmother saw the kids less than 5 times. My parents saw those kids more times than 13 months than that grandmother did. And I'm going to get to that here in a second. And in 5 years, or in 2 years, 5 times or less,
Mm-hmm.
she saw the kids. Okay? After the funeral, Holly's distraught. She don't know what to do. Now she's a single mother of 3. So they go to the mother's house. They start opening up all the money. And there's more than enough to pay for the funeral. Holly goes, where is this money going to? Is it going to my kids in a fund? Like, what's going on here? The mother goes, you ain't getting a dime. She goes, I got to pay for my son's funeral. Okay? Now going back retrospective, when Matt was dying, she knew what kind of lady this was. Holly had an account, Matt had an account, and Holly and Matt had a bank account. Holly drained out Matt and her's bank account, which was for a house and to be married, and Holly drained out her bank account. Why? She knew what kind of family he had towards her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying towards him, towards her. She knew it. So she drained it out because she's a single mother. I think I would have done the same thing. If I had 3 kids and my wife was dying and we had 3 different bank accounts and I could get to 2 out of 3 just to survive, I'm going to do it because A, her family don't have the money. They haven't made the bail. B, she knows how her family feels against her. So she did that. Then the day after that, the mother calls her and says, I want all of Matt's stuff. I want his jerseys, his military stuff. I want his truck. And Matt co-signed for Holly's like minivan that she has, the Dodge Caravan.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, I'm going to give you 72 hours to get that van in your name or I want that van back. Mm-hmm. So Holly's like, what the f-? So she boxed up all of Matt's stuff and gave it to the mother. The medals, the awards, the pictures, clothes that she wanted. I mean, this lady made out a list
Mm-hmm.
for Holly to do. Then Holly knew she wasn't getting any of the life insurance. Why? Because they weren't married and she wasn't a beneficiary. You know what? My brother, I'm not married, so the girl, if I'm dating Holly and dies, Holly knows that she's not getting the money. My brother is. My blood is going to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you die, your wife's going to get the money.
Sure.
You know? So the thing about it is she sued for the insurance. Why? Because she has 3 kids. You know, her kids are going to want to go to college, this, that, the other thing. They said she was money hungry. I think I would have done the same thing. You know, they never once helped her out. They never came by and said, here's $500. Here's this. Then they take Holly to court for custody. They lose. They take her to custody again. They lose. They take her for visitation. They lose. Holly goes, you know what? You want to be in my kid's life after 2 years after when Matt died. You want to be in my kid's life. I'll do visitation every other Sunday for an hour and a half in my basement. You can play with your grandkids, talk to your grandkids, get to know them, and we'll see how it goes from there. So the courts, whoever was in child services, whoever this, that, the other thing, says okay to that. Okay? How many times do you think it took this lady to show up? It was the 4th Sunday before she showed up.
Mm.
So let me tell you, if you have grandkids, I don't know if you do, if you have grandkids and you want to see your grandkids and you've been fighting to see your grandkids and they tell you, hey, this Sunday you could see your grandkids. 2 Sundays from now, you could see your grandkids. 5 Sundays from now, you could see your grandkids. Are you going to show up on the 7th Sunday or are you going to show up on the 1st Sunday?
Sure. Me personally?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be there on the first one.
Okay. So, and then everybody says she's money hungry. When we dated, it was like 50-50. Like if I bought the kids a bike, she got emotionally touched and upset. I mean, not upset, but like very thankful. And like, she tried everything that she could so those kids had a decent house, a hot meal, and that they had stuff that they wanted. She busted her ass. She literally did bust her ass.
Yeah.
And everything that she did. And then the thing about it is recently, this happened at Christmas, Patricia Podolak sent Christmas cards to the grandkids. Now, between the visitation, when Holly said no more, when she showed up that 4th Sunday, and then she showed up like the 6th Sunday, she goes, you ain't gonna walk in and out of my kid's life. Like, she said that to me too. If you're gonna be a male figure, which my kids need, you're not gonna walk in and out of my kids' lives. Mm-hmm. So Holly never gave the kids the Christmas stuff. Why? And then this lady came around at Easter time, and I was there.
Who was
right?
that?
Right. Yeah, I was there right after.
Came over?
The grandmother came over, and the grandmother knew that Holly did not want her there, and the grandmother knew Holly wasn't there. It was a Saturday when she was at work. They all knew where she worked, so came over there, and they had a babysitter, and she comes with Easter baskets and candies for the kids, and she's screaming through the doors, "I'm grandma, I'm grandma, I'm grandma. Grandma wants to see you. I haven't seen your grandkids in 3 years." You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna do that. I mean, come on now. You're gonna tell me if this happened to you and you're a female with 3 kids that you aren't gonna be a little bit unstable? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, and then where she would work, people would call her murderer. People would say to her, you know, it's like seriously, you know, you're gonna do that. I mean, like I said before, she might have had something to do with it. She might have not had something to do with it, but
yeah,
but
there's a lot of stuff going on here, Pat. Which I'm not going to get into that with you.
I mean, if you,
because you're not a part of it.
I know that, but I like to. I mean, whatever we say is between you and I.
I mean, what you came to tell me was your thoughts on it, and that's what I wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to get into any kind of evidence of the case or anything like that against her because you weren't around then. It's got nothing to do with you.
Right. Absolutely.
The only thing that had to do with you was the last 13 months because you've known her for the last 13 or 14 months. So.
Right, absolutely.
So I wanted to know your feelings about her.
You think she's mentally unstable?
I have some concerns about her mental state.
Do you have concerns about the pills she was taking?
After you tell me that she's taken that many of them, yeah. But I don't know when she started taking them, or you know what I mean.
It's been a while.
You know, I mean, he died in July of 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't ruled a homicide until the year 2010.
Right. Which also too is wrong.
Well, a lot of times it's a lot of times the deaths have a lot different reasons why people die.
Mm-hmm.
And in his case, it happened to be antifreeze poisoning.
The active ingredient.
No, he had antifreeze in his body. Your body can't get rid of antifreeze.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
That's why he died.
Absolutely. Now, you don't think he could have got that at work anyway in a factory? Just
not from all the investigation we've got. No, that ingredient, the main ingredient in antifreeze is ethylene glycol,
which is a common chemical.
Yeah, but it was not at his work.
Right.
And it has to be ingested. It's not breathed in. It has to be, you got to drink it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if he was wearing masks or gloves or whatever, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
You have to drink it.
Absolutely.
And that's what the coroner ruled. That's how he died. So
This is going to be a long, drawn-out case.
Yeah, probably. Well, you know, there's nothing more serious than aggravated murder. So,
I just don't personally. And after this is what we got on to. I have no baggage. I have no kids. I have no ex-wives. No nothing. I know I could find better than that.
you're a lucky
I
man.
got a great job. You know what I'm saying? I'm very lucky. And I'm going to have no ties to her. You know, maybe one day those kids will call me and say thank you. But the thing about it is, I really don't think in my heart that she would do something like this.
Well, you never know what somebody else is thinking.
You never know. You're right.
I've seen a lot of things. I've been a
You're
policeman
right.
a long time.
You're right. I'm not doubting you.
Supervisor in the homicide.
You're right. I was
I see stuff every day.
before the Metro Parks. I was.
Can you
working for-
believe that they did that? No, I can't believe it. But yeah,
every day
yeah,
there's something new.
Yeah, they did it.
It's
You
crazy.
know, so, she's gonna get her day in court if that's what she wants, and we'll see what happens with that. So how far back did you guys text is on there? You broke up in June. You've been texting back and
This is a
forth
brand
since
new
then.
phone. This is like 3 weeks old. There's not many. I mean, there's all kinds of. I have all my old phones. I'll bring them into you. Hey, how are you doing? I love you. I this, that, the other thing.
But this is the one from the last 3 weeks
Yeah.
that you were
Yeah,
arguing.
and it's mostly me texting. Mostly like.
you
know.
texting her. and
Yeah, I brought my other one. You know, with
the one that you were using before that.
Yeah, even before that.
All right. Well, if you give me consent to go into the phones, I'm going to take both of them, and I'll have the guy go through them and get them back to you as soon as I can.
I can't. I need that for work. This is like my only phone.
This one here.
Mhm.
Can you go back through all the texts that are in it now?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want me to read to you. Do you want me to start reading text?
Yeah. Read me all the texts that you got in there.
I'm gonna read you from this one too. So this is like from the beginning of June. This is probably like when it got bad. I'm a very caring person.
You want to give me this one and keep that one? Is this one from work?
I use
Or
it
did
for
you-
everything.
Oh,
I
that's your
use it.
personal one.
Yeah,
And this
I'll
one,
read
what's
you
this
off.
one here? I got
This isn't. I broke my old phone. So here's what they do to you. You pay $7 a month for insurance, $84 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when you break your phone, they charge you $100 deductible. It's $184. So I broke the phone before this. Memorial Day.
that phone?
No, the phone before this.
Okay.
Memorial Day weekend. I was up for an upgrade July 1st. So that's what, 5 weeks? So I broke it. I'm like, why pay $100 deductible if I'm up for a new phone July 1st, right? Why pay $100 if you're gonna get a new phone July 1st?
Yeah.
So my mother had an old phone. She's like, you could just use this for 5 weeks. And I said, okay. And then I got the new phone. You follow me?
Yeah. Kind of. My wife
It's
handles
just
all
like your
my cell
glasses.
phone.
I'm on the same thing, just like your glasses. Every January 1st, we get brand new eyewear or our deductible changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you break those glasses December 1st and you can't wear them anymore, you're probably going to try and look for an old pair so you don't have to pay full price.
Sure.
For you follow what I'm saying now? Okay,
Sure.
I wanted to make sure that you're following.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
do me a favor and just read them then.
Yeah,
Read them out loud.
there's a ton. I mean, we talked
Uh,
all the time. June 4th, this is, when I read, it's her. When I say me, it's me.
okay.
June 4th, we break up. That's the first breakup. It says, you still gonna come over, just got home from baseball, so in about 10 minutes comes over, me. Okay, sounds good. We break up. I says, the Gatorade bottle in the garage is full of gas, don't want the kids to drink it. Sorry, you will never see me again. You don't have to worry about me again. I really wish this would have worked out. And I did everything you wanted. Someday you'll realize it. I never wanted it to be like this. And I wanted to take a break. And I will do anything for you and the kids. And that was, and I says, I hope to hear from you soon one day. That was June 4th.
Uh-huh.
June 7th, I get a text message. I need a date for Sunday night. Do you know where I could find one? I said, yes. His name is Patrick Arch, and he's a good guy. I will text you. This is June 8th. I will text you tomorrow with the details. I'm going to bed. Thank you. I said, good night. That day, I had flowers. June 9th, or Saturday the 9th, I had flowers delivered to work. Thank you for the flowers. They are beautiful. Just so you know, I will pick you up at 6 or 6:30. Wear shorts and a comfortable shirt and a jacket of some sort. Sunglasses. We will be outside after dark and we will be eating dinner. Sounds amazing. I'm out with her brother-in-law. We are two nerds in a bar. And I say, flowers are beautiful just like you. I said, on the 11th, I say, good morning. Hope you got some sleep. And I said, good things are happening. I said, many more to come. Hope today goes by fast for you. This was after when we went on the Nautica cruise, when she's like, I want you to bring your clothes and stuff. I says, thank you. It was fun. And yes, she goes, yes, thank you. Fun overdue. Hope it's not too hot. Have a great day. That same day, I'm just like, how was work? She says, work was okay. Just been trying to figure out the AC problem. A guy at work came over and fixed the AC problem. So, we're talking about that. She's texting me June 11th at 10 o'clock at night. I'm guessing it's too late to call. Call him the HVAC guy. And we're just talking about that. Then that night when we're talking about the HVAC guy, she's like, just come over. Just come over and sleep over. Kids are in bed. Just come over. So we go over. We're still talking about the HVAC guy. She had a doctor's appointment like every Tuesday and Thursday when she was off the market. She had a doctor's appointment.
Who was the doctor with? Was it the psychiatrist?
Metro. She went to go see a psychologist at
She
Metro.
did.
Yes, and she was also seeing a child psychologist in Parma off of
With the
Ridge.
kids?
No, that was like her and I. And then
Oh.
when we started fighting, she went like 2 times after to see him. This is something from the 13th. Good morning. My neck is killing me. This is from the auto accident. You know, she had a lot of pains and a lot of aches and pains.
Uh-huh. When was she in an auto accident? How long ago was that?
Like 2 years.
2 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Almost 2 years ago. I mean, that's why she was taking a lot of pills. She was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Carpal tunnel from work. I'm just trying to look over here and before I give this to you. I'll give this to you and you can get it back to me. It's just a regular charger.
All right. Well, you don't have to go through them then, Pat.
Yeah.
You can just go through the new phone then.
Okay.
You're going to give me consent to look into this one.
Yeah.
I'll have my guy do it. and
Someone might have sent me naked pictures so I don't get in trouble for that, do I?
Oh.
They're not like kids.
As long as they're
or
not
anything.
little kids.
No,
I
they're
don't have
not.
a problem.
They're not.
And I'm not going to be the one looking at it. So
Okay.
we have a guy that does it for us. So.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can just read through those then on the new phone.
Okay.
Is this so? This is through Sprint too.
Yeah.
The old one.
Yeah.
Are they both what's the number on this one?
Same
number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's
They
the
didn't give
same.
you a new number.
So July 9th or 10th, I got really drunk because I knew that was the last straw for us, because July 4th was a bad night for us. I mean, we were together, but it was like we were fighting.
What was the date on the first text on that phone?
July 11th. But
Okay. That was the first text from you to her?
right. And let me see, when was the last one on this one? I mean, I did get drunk and say some mean stuff about her being crazy and stuff, but I didn't say I'm gonna.
Hey,
Gonna
when people
kill
are
you.
breaking up, they say all kinds of stuff.
Right. Okay. As long as we're
It's
on the same
understandable.
page.
It's,
Especially when kids are
just
involved.
words.
July 6th and 7th was when
The
this
old
last
phone?
phone.
So from the 6th to the 11th, there's nothing. There's no calls between you guys?
The 7th at like 1 o'clock in the morning, I
Uh-huh.
text her I was puking in my front yard. And
On the 7th?
yeah. This is the last one from this phone. July 7th.
Okay, the old phone.
July 7th, last text. New phone,
Last
July
text was when? The 7th?
11th. The 7th. New phone, July 11th.
7. So from the 7th to the 11th, there's no texting?
Nothing. Nothing.
No
So-
communication at all? You didn't
Nothing.
talk to her for those days?
No. You know what? She called me. She was calling me. when
Calling
we were-
your phone?
When we were fighting, she was calling my phone from work a lot. You know what I'm
Oh,
trying to
okay.
say? Like,
Yeah.
she was calling me from work, which she never did, or her unlisted house phone. Let me read these through. I said, I'm sorry for being drunk and said what I said.
That was on the 11th.
Yes. I said, if it's completely over, I'd like to talk to you one last time as adults. Up to you, though. I'm completely heartbroken and torn apart. And then on the 11th again, I said, since you don't care anymore, I want my stuff back tomorrow after work. She texted me on the 19th.
She didn't text you for 8 days?
Let me see.
From the 11th to the 18th?
No. I that was on the 11th. Now the 18th, I says,
That's the next one though, Pat?
yeah, because I was leaving it alone.
And she didn't call you?
She was calling me from like work and stuff.
Okay. So then on 7, 18.
I said, since you don't care anymore, I want my stuff back tomorrow after work.
And this was from you to her.
Yeah, at 10:28. I get a
You're
response.
asking for your stuff back.
Right. I get a response at 2:20. So I'm going to ask you nicely not to call me, text me, or come to my house or to my work. I have nothing that belongs to, which she had a lot of stuff that does. If I do, I will give it to somebody to drop it off at your house. If you continue to harass me, which I'm not harassing. Harassing is like, if you don't talk to someone for 8 days, how is it harassment? You know what I'm saying? And it's not
Well,
like I'm
you
saying
said she was calling you.
she was calling me too. How? And so I don't understand how that's harassing. That's her thinking. That's her mental state of mind thinking. And
So she says back to you, I don't have any of your stuff. Don't call me anymore,
she goes,
basically?
yeah. And she goes, if you continue to harass me, I'll be able to press charges. I said, I asked you to talk to me one last time. Okay, this is the last message. Have a great life. You're the one who did this. I'm the one that asked for closure, but I guess this is it. I said, hopefully you remember all the good times because it was hard.
Is that also on the 18th? All this is on
Yeah.
the 18th?
I said,
Okay.
hopefully because,
So then it went back and forth again.
right.
Right.
I said, just remember the good times and the bad. And then I said, maybe one day you will grow up. And
What does she
Yeah.
say to that?
and then this is me keep on going. I says, by harassment, I lose my job, and that's the only. It keeps on going. Hold on a second. Every time I move this phone, it keeps on going back. I said, for harassment, I lose my job, and that's the only thing I now have, and I've ever had. So good luck and bye forever. 2:30. This is back from here. I'm sorry you feel you need to, you feel this way. And then I said, thanks for what you did to me. Give me hopes and crush me. And then she's like, you're wrong. And then this is the funny one. The 24th. I have your heater.
7:24.
Yeah, so we don't talk in between. There's no text messages in between. The 18th.
After that.
And that's, how is that harassment? If you're going to fill out paperwork on the 19th. So she knew that this was coming down. The 24th, I says, I have your heater. Would you like it? Can I drop it off at your house or work? Now she's saying I can't come to her house or work.
She
But
texted you?
Yes. At 11:41. I
And
says,
she said, I have your heater.
clothes, whatever. Now
I have your stuff.
back here, she's saying, I have nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so now she has
So
it.
it's like, now she
wants
has
to give
it.
it to you?
Yeah, she wants to see me. She wants to rekindle stuff. It's back and forth, back and forth.
I have your stuff and I want to give it to you. Is that what she says?
Right. Drop it off at your house or work. Now, remember, up here, she's saying she didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
Till you answer her.
So I
On the
answered her.
24th?
Yes, I answered her back. This is pretty long. Don't worry about it. Keep it. I don't need it. I don't want it or need anything from you. 24th still. From her. Okay,
Wait
cool.
a minute. Don't worry about it.
That's me saying that to her.
Yeah, I don't want anything.
Right. I don't want anything. Now, how is that harassing? It's not harassing.
And then now it's her back to you again.
Her back to me again.
Still on the 24th.
Still on the 24th.
All right.
Okay,
wait a
cool.
minute. Holly.
This is Holly.
It's a Pat.
Okay, cool, thanks. I just wanted to thank you, too, for the stuff you started, too. You're the best. What stuff did I start? I didn't start nothing.
I just wanted to thank you for the stuff you started.
Yep, you're the best. This is me.
Okay, you answer her then.
Stuff I started, like what? You did this, not me. I didn't say much to anybody about us, like, breaking up. She always thought that I told everybody everything about our relationship, which I never did. And I said...
Stuff I started. What did you say to her, Pat?
I said, stuff I started, like what? You did this to me. I didn't say much to anyone. Saying, I didn't tell my mom we broke up. I didn't tell my friends. This, that, the other thing. I didn't say anything to her family. I said, you should thank yourself for building me up and stepping on me like an ant, or letting me get close to you and your kids and trusting the situation and you getting rid of me. I said, if you only got stress help and communicated, stuff would have been fine. I said, I fought for what I believe in my heart. You just aren't the same person, Holly.
Okay.
And let me see if there's anything
More
else.
on the 24th?
Yes, still. I said, you had 3 different lifestyles. You had your home lifestyle, you had your Facebook lifestyle, and you had our lifestyle, which I told you before. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, she had 3 different lifestyles? Is
Yeah,
that what it
like
said?
she had that market lifestyle where like everybody thought that she was perfect down there, and then she had our
Wait a minute,
lifestyle.
let me write that down. In the market, she made everybody think she had a perfect lifestyle?
Yeah, like she thought that she
Made
called herself
everything-
the market princess.
Made everything look perfect?
Yep.
Okay, that was the market one. Well, what's the second one?
You know, the Facebook lifestyle. You know,
What's that?
just like,
Fantasy?
well, like you can add friends. So she would add friends. Like, she would see me be friends with someone and add them and not even know them. Like, what it is it's for, like, okay, my cousins live in California. I want to be friends with them. I want to see what they're doing. So we're not texting and calling each other.
No, I understand a little bit.
Kind of
about
like
it,
thing like that, you know?
so she would add friends of people that she didn't even know.
Oh, yeah.
She would add your friends.
My friends and friends of friends. And popular people. I mean, she, you know.
She didn't even know them.
Yeah. And then she lived that family lifestyle, the her and I lifestyle. Or her and the kid lifestyle.
Which was?
The perfect mother. And the perfect father, because it was so hard for her to let me step in.
It was the perfect family over there?
So she made it out to be.
Okay. That was on the 24th?
Still.
Okay.
I said, I was 100% behind you and kids to the end. Don't blame me for shit. I'm finally realizing that she's trying to blame me for the cops coming to her house. You need to blame one person, you. I did everything for you and those kids. It's your family's loss. I just hope they have a dad like I would have been because those kids deserve it. I said, do you? ? I don't know anymore. But I know now what I deserve, and I think now you know what I deserve. Because if you don't want to be with me, why are you? If I'm such a bad person,
let me go.
Why are you texting me too? So I'm finally realizing, you know, I think that she knows that I'm a good guy and a good catch. So why is she contacting me? Because I'm a good guy and a good catch. So I finally know now what I deserve, and I will find it. Good things happen to good people, and I'm not perfect. No one is. But I'm better than the rest, and I say good day. And on the...
Did she come back at that?
Nothing, because later on that day is when the media came to her house. And the only other thing I said...
So the last thing that she actually texted you was something like...
on the 24th, yes. About she
okay,
is my
cool,
stuff.
thanks. I just wanted to thank you for the
all-
stuff you
All
started.
the stuff you started.
And you're the best.
Yep. And then on the 25th, I just said, I'm here if you need me. I'm here if you need me.
This was after the arrest.
Right.
Right.
I love you and the kids. I know you will get through this. And we know what kind of person you
So you
are.
wished her good luck, basically,
Yes.
right? Okay, I'm gonna have you sign a consent form so I can get these text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Are you deleting stuff?
It was a naked picture.
Oh,
A Jerry Sandusky naked picture. I'm sure they don't want to see that.
no. Well,
It was in the
he's
picture,
gonna
man.
go into the hard drive anyhow and look at it all, so can't really delete it. I'm gonna have you sign these consent forms, Pat, so you don't have to.
Do you want me to bring my other old phone in too? The one before this?
No.
It was 10 months of our relationship on that phone.
I don't think we're gonna need that right now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey,
How you doing, man?
Okay.
So you're saying you're just looking at all her stuff?
Yeah, I just want to know the conversation between the two of you and on the texts. That's all.
Between
Between you and Holly.
right, in the month of June. This is like June 4th to July 7th.
Okay. And then you have another phone. You said that's
I have the phone before that I explained to you that I could.
okay. If I need that one, I'll call you.
Okay.
All right. All I need you to do is sign, put the date, and then sign. It's a consent to search form.
Okay. What's the date again?
Today's date's 8/2.
Yeah, that's what so you're saying I'm not getting
August
in trouble
already.
for anything on there?
No, not that I'm aware
Alright.
of. No.
Okay. There's no kitty
I'm not
porn and there's no
investigating.
threatening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there,
good.
whatever's on there, they find it. So this looks like just a copy. Let's do this too.
I'm cooperating, so
No, I appreciate you coming in.
I really would like a copy of that harassment form. So I had that.
Of the report.
hmm I would love it.
Yeah, and anybody can get a copy of that. That's no big deal.
Can you make a copy or no?
I can make you a copy, sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
What else would you like to do? Would you like me to come in here with my other phone and tell you the timeline of our whole relationship and her mood swings and up and downs and everything else?
Then maybe down the line, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Well,
if I need to get a hold of you,
I'm doing nothing but
yeah,
the
I
truth.
appreciate you cooperating.
I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
I see some of those pictures right there. I want to take a picture with my phone. Look how good I looked back then. This was ninth grade year of football. Football, and I'm actually this weight right now. I just got down to this weight. I was fat here.
What happened here?
Basketball or football? When was the picture taken?
97, July,
Probably football practice or screwing around in the pool.
poked in the eye.
Yeah. Look how big I look there. Compared to now, I lost 50 pounds.
Lost a
in the
lot of weight,
past.
yeah. It's good.
Probably stress, probably stress.
you don't
from
need
this
all that weight.
relationship.
So we'll make a copy of this.
Will you drop that off or will you send it to my house? Oh, the phone? I meant the phone though. Alright.
Investigators also speak with Holly McFeature's former attorney, Mark Marshall, whose children she also babysat.
Sorry about that, Mark.
No problem. All right. Hi, Mark. Hi. I'm Brian McDonough. How are you in the major trial unit?
Sorry. Leave you your card, Mark. All right, well, the reason I called you in here to talk to you was about this death of Matthew Podolak,
Mm-hmm.
who was had a relationship with Holly McFeeture,
Yes.
and from what I understand, Holly was renting from you. Is that correct?
At the time?
At the time,
No.
was it 3301 Archmere?
At the time of Mr. Podolak's death?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No. We lived in, she was a neighbor of ours. I think she lived several houses down. We lived at 3301 Archmere until, I want to say, January maybe of 2007. And then we moved to Westlake, and at that time she came and moved into our house and has rented from us ever since.
Okay, when you moved out.
She moved in.
Now, Mark, just for my own personal notes here, do you live at,
Yes.
okay, and I got your work number. So you still own the house and still rent to Holly?
Yes.
And that's,
Yes.
okay. Do you own any other houses on Archmere?
No.
That's the only one that you own?
It's the only one I own. It's the only other house I own. I own the house in Westlake and I own the house in Archmere. Those are the only pieces of property that I own.
Okay. Matthew died on July 30th of 06. So you guys moved out before then?
We moved out after he died.
Okay. Okay, so they were living down the street when he
They were
died.
living down the street from us.
Okay. So did you ever meet Matthew then?
I may have. She was a friend of my wife's, and she cared for she watched my son after school. So I may have several times had casual conversation with him. I don't have a real specific recollection. If I did, it was not of anything significant. And it would have been when I was picking up my son after work.
Okay. And how long did she babysit your son?
God, you're talking 6 years ago. He was at a home daycare a street over, at the same time that one of Holly's daughters, I think Holly's daughter was there. One of Holly's kids was there, and so she pulled him out, and I think she wasn't working at the time, and we weren't happy with the care that my son was getting at that house. So I think my wife inquired whether or not Holly would be willing to watch him, after school. And she said yeah, and so we arranged for him to be dropped off at the bus at her house, and then we would pick him up after school.
So when you bought the house on Archmere and
Yeah.
moved in, you and your wife.
Yeah, we lived in there for approximately 5 years before we moved out.
So you bought it around 2000 or 2001,
I think
sometime around there?
right around 9/11. So right around maybe September of 2001, somewhere in September, October of 2001.
So your wife was friends with Holly because you were neighbors.
I think because we were neighbors, but because also, I don't think we knew her very well. But then I think my wife got to know her better because her kid was at the same home daycare that our kid was at. And so I think they had conversations. We met each other there and developed a friendship from that point. But we didn't know Holly when we moved in.
What's your wife's name?
Julie Marshall. She goes by Julie Fritz Marshall.
All right. Did you ever have any conversations with Holly?
At what time?
Ever?
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to Holly?
I have. I did look into, in terms of representing her as an attorney, looked into the circumstances of Matthew's death, and the fact that he was involved in work and did a process called powder coating, and I did research into powder coating and found out that powder coating has a major component of powder coating, I think, is ethanol glycol, which I believe is what he was poisoned with. At that point, I was looking into it in terms of possibly making a workers' comp claim or any kind of claim regarding that. And so that's basically the conversations. And then I've had limited conversations about the house. Things are wrong with the house. Things are wrong with this.
Yeah.
But she and I have not talked about her husband in about 5 years.
Did she hire you then as her attorney?
There was an understanding that I was going to look into it for her as an attorney. Yes. She didn't hire me. She didn't pay me any money. She was a friend. I did a law practice on the side, so she asked me to. She when she found out, I don't think she knew what ethanol glycol was, and so I indicated that I would look into it, and that was basically the extent of it. And then I did some research into ethanol. It was indicated that he worked at a place and did a process called powder coating. I on my own did research, into what was involved in powder coating off the internet. I found out that a major component of powder coating was ethanol glycol, And so there was at least a belief or a belief on my part of a possibility that how he was poisoned, that he could have either have breathed the stuff in or had some sort of contact with it on his skin or whatever. And so that's what we were looking into.
Did Holly ever tell you that she was having any kind of problems with Matthew?
I'm not going to tell. Let me put it to you this way: I'm not going to tell you specific conversations because of attorney-client privilege, but I can indicate to you that she never told me that she ever had any problems with him. She never said one word bad about him to me, and she's never acted in any. She never acted in any way at that time or at any other time that would lead me to have any kind of suspicion that she would have had anything, would have in any way been involved in it. It was inconceivable. I mean, at the time, it was inconceivable to me that she would have had anything to be involved with it.
And I'm sorry, you said you moved out of Archwood when
Archmere.
did you? Archmere?
I think roughly January of 2007, I think. Because we've lived in Westlake about 3 years. 3 years has passed. So it may have been January 2007, January 2008. Around one of those times. It was January of either 2007 or January of 2008.
So did Holly ever tell you that you did something to harm Matthew?
No. Never indicated it to me in any way.
And your relationship with Holly, was it ever romantic or more
No.
than friends?
My relationship with Holly essentially was that she was a friend of my wife, and then after she moved into my house, she was my tenant. And the conversations that we had, basically all the conversations that I've had with her since she's moved in have been about my house. This needs fixed, that needs fixed. Holly, I'm coming over to pick up the rent check, that kind of stuff.
When you moved out, you and your family moved out in
Mhm.
January of 2007, did you still have any property in the house or in the garage?
There may have been a little bit of property on the garage. I know we made a conscious effort to take everything out of the house. And there may have been a few things left in the garage, but, we pretty much had the house cleaned up for her to move in.
Okay. What about specifically antifreeze? Do you think that you left any antifreeze in the garage?
I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know. I mean, there may have been some chemicals left behind in the garage, but
Nothing
Whether
like
there
that. No antifreeze specifically.
let me put it to you this way. I don't have a recollection of antifreeze. Now, you also have to remember, I bought this house in 2001, and the guy I bought it from, there may have been chemicals from him for all I knew. He left a bunch, there was stuff that he left behind, paint and different other things in the garage, and he left paint in my house, paint cans and shit. So, whether or not there could have been some from the prior owner, there could have been. Do I have a specific recollection of leaving radiator fluid in there? No, but does that mean it couldn't have been left? I don't remember. I mean, you're talking 5 years ago. Or no, not 5 years ago, probably about 3 years ago. And, I don't have
if you did buy antifreeze, do you remember if you ever bought any peak antifreeze?
I don't recall. I don't recall, but I could have. I mean, and you also have to remember, my wife could have, for all I know. I mean, I don't know.
What about, what kind of cars were you guys driving back then?
We were driving a 2007, maybe? No, was it 2007?
New car?
No, you know what? We were driving a 2000 green Dodge Caravan, and I had a Dodge Colt, a red Dodge Colt.
What about Holly's family? Did you ever meet any of Holly's family or sister?
I think I may have one point met her sister, because her sister, I think, moved in with Holly when she first rented our house, but I don't think she stayed very long.
Do you remember her name?
No. I remember had blonde hair. I don't remember her name. And I think it was bleach blonde hair. I think she bleached it, but I don't have a recollection of her. And she stayed for a short period of time before she moved out and to wherever she ended up going.
Did you ever have any conversation with anybody about Matthew Podolak or the way that he died?
I had some conversations with an attorney in a plaintiff's law firm in Sandusky called Murray and Murray. I knew Murray and Murray because I was friends. I worked at the prosecutor's office, and one of the partners in there was Jim Murray, and I asked them to look into whether or not it was possible that he could have been poisoned by ethanol glycol at work. They looked into it and they couldn't find anything. I looked into it and I couldn't find anything that indicated that was a possibility. And so at that point, I let Holly know that and told her that, I was no longer going to be working on the matter for her.
So Murray and Murray looked into it and they found that there was no...
They couldn't find anything to substantiate or to, any scientific study or any medical study or anything like that would have stood for the proposition that an individual could either be poisoned by breathing in ethanol glycol or by absorbing it through their skin.
What about did you ever meet any friends of Holly's?
No.
None of her male friends or
I think
girlfriends?
at one point when she was living in her house, she was dating a police officer, a Cleveland police officer who was living there. I don't remember his name. I may have talked to him at one point in time. I know it was after she moved into our house, but then he didn't stay for very long. But other than that, no, I've not talked to any of her other boyfriends or had any meaningful conversation.
Originally, when Matthew died, the manner of death was undetermined, and the coroner's has officially ruled this case a homicide now. Did Holly ever ask you any advice in connection with her life insurance benefits or 401 benefits or Social Security benefits? Or
I'm not going to get into specific conversations relative to, because there may have been an issue of attorney-client privilege. I can tell you that looking into I think looking into whether or not part of his death was the life insurance. I think it was like a minimal amount, and I may have looked into that for her. That may have been part of my representation of her as an attorney. But other than specific conversations, I mean, she didn't make a big deal about the life insurance. It wasn't a big focus of hers. She appeared to me more to be a person who had just been hit by a truck. Just she'd had a long-term relationship with this guy. She had children with him. He had died in a I want to say mysterious. It wasn't an expected death. Like he'd been sick or something like that, and she was just beginning to get over that and getting into her, trying to put back together the remnants of her life, and then she was hit with this again, and so it brought all that other stuff back. She just seemed to me to be a person who was just dazed, just trying to understand, how could this be? How could this have happened?
Mm-hmm. So she did talk to you about her benefits or whatever then? as far as the life insurance?
I think
and 401?
again.
Safe to say that
I can tell. I'm not going to tell you the specifics of our conversations, other than to say we did discuss it.
Okay.
But it was not a big deal with her. I think she was more concerned about having it for her kids than anything else. But it was not. That was not her primary. She was just trying to figure out what happened and how could he have died like this. And it was not a big motivator for her. If we talked about it, it was just like a side issue.
So it wouldn't surprise you to learn that Holly told someone else that she had her landlord help her try to get life insurance money.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No. Okay. And back then, when did you leave the prosecutor's office?
A year ago.
A year ago.
Year ago on Friday.
Wow, anniversary date. Did this particular case have anything to do with you losing your job?
Yes.
It did.
Yes. And well, let me put it to you this way. I was given the option of either resigning or being terminated, and I chose to resign.
Because of this specific case?
Yes.
Well, I mean, all these questions I asked you, I don't see that you did anything wrong. Is there something else that you did that I don't know about, or?
One of the concerns that I had when I was looking into all of this for Holly was when I found out that ethanol glycol was a major component of powder coating. And I was relatively convinced that this is how he was poisoned. I had a concern that if he was poisoned in this way, that other workers at that factory or whatever could be subject to. So I tried to leave. I left a couple of messages with the coroner, telephone messages, asking him to call me so that I could tell him, hey, that he worked in powder coating, and that ethanol glycol is a major component of powder coating, and you need to look into this because other people may be at risk. He didn't respond to me. So I got
somebody from the coroner's office, or?
He wouldn't respond to me, wouldn't return my phone call.
Who was that?
I don't even remember who the coroner's name was. So out of frustration, I did something very stupid. I took a fax cover sheet from the prosecutor's office, and I basically attached some articles from the internet about ethanol glycol and powder coating. And I put, could this be the way he died? And I faxed it to the coroner. And that's why I was asked to resign or be terminated.
Because you used the
prosecutor office fax
letterhead and the fax machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the prosecutor is still, or I should say the prosecutor's office. I want to say the prosecutor. Still deciding on where this case is going, so.
I can tell you this, I have not had a conversation about this with Holly in 5 years. Since I told her that I couldn't find anything. We have not discussed that. I made it very clear to my former employer that I had no intention of discussing it with her since I've left, and I have not. Okay. I have no intention of discussing it with her now.
How does she pay the rent? Does she send you a check in the mail or something?
Well, you know what? We tried that, and I don't know if you know her very well. She's not a very organized person. She's kind of fly by the seat of her pants. And so she wasn't, at one point we gave her our checking account information and asked her to deposit the checks every month, and she wasn't doing that. And so it got to the point where we just we physically go over it every month to pick up the rent check because she's just so fly by night of her pants that, not intending to not send it, but just getting sidetracked with something else. She wasn't, getting us the rent on a regular basis, and we needed that rent money in order to make the house payment.
Sure.
So we ended up just going ahead and picking up the rent check from her, and we've been doing it ever since. And then we've had conversations about stuff that needs to be fixed in the house, and whether she pays for it, whether we pay for it, that kind of stuff.
So she's up to date with her rent right now?
Yeah, she is.
And who's she living there with now? Do you know?
The only people that I know that she's living there with are her children. I only go there once a month for a short period of time. I look around the house to make sure that there isn't anything that needs to be fixed, and pick up the rent check, and I'm gone. It's a 10-minute process.
Yeah.
At most. And so, my primary concern when I get there is, this needs fixed or that needs fixed.
It's always something.
Yeah, oh God, with an old house, it's always something. It's always something. So,
Do you have other rental properties too, or is that?
No. We made a decision, my wife and I, that Cleveland was not for us. Our son was getting the age. He was in school, Catholic parochial school, so that was an issue with us. We had a nephew living with us at the time who, because he'd gotten taken out of custody from Texas, and rather than being put in a foster home down there, we took him in his family. He was riding a bike around one time, and there was some sort of riot between two rival gangs of kids, and he got hit in the back of the arm by a brick, and my wife said, we're out of here. And so at that point, we made the decision that we just didn't want to live in Cleveland anymore. Plus, we knew that we were going to have to pay parochial high school for my son in Westlake. Schools are excellent, so we made the decision. And my sister-in-law was the finance director of Westlake. So we just made the decision to move out there. Probably the best decision I made. Probably. If buying that house in retrospect was probably a mistake, but the problem is I couldn't sell the house for what I owed. So the only option you have then is just to rent it out.
Yeah, a lot of people are in that position now, that's for sure.
Yeah, until you can get the equity down in it.
So you can get above the water line.
Yeah, so I can sell it and be done with it.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming in and talking to me.
No problem.
Do you have any questions for me?
None at all.
Brian, did you have any other questions?
How did you find out about the death of Matthew Podolak?
I was in Texas, believe it or not. I was in an office seminar. The office had sent myself and my wife to Texas, and we were down in Texas for 10 days for a national child support seminar. And so we'd intended for my nephew to stay with a friend while we were gone. He was like 15 at the time. And so it didn't work out. Okay. And so he was like, we were in Texas and he had no place to go. So we said, okay, it was only like a couple of days before we came back. So we told him to go, to stay in our house for a couple of days until we come back. So we're driving somewhere in Texas, and I get a call from my nephew saying, "Did you hear that Holly's boyfriend died?" And we knew Holly because she cared for her son at the time, and she was watching our son at the time after school, and so that's how I found out about it. I found out about it when I was in Texas.
And after you found out about it, what did you do?
I was driving. I don't recall whether my mom tried to call Holly or what, just to say how sorry we were. I think there was a concern on my wife that she didn't want to overburden Holly with having to take care of my son and deal with everything that she was dealing with as a result of the death of her boyfriend. So there may have been some conversations, don't worry about taking care of Nick. We'll figure something out until you can get on your feet and deal with this. So that's basically it.
When did your representation of her begin?
I think about the time she'd asked me, she was going to go and get a death certificate because she needed a death certificate, I think, for the insurance or something like that. My wife said, I work downtown, let me take care of it for you. So I think my wife picked up the death certificate for Holly, brought it back, and it came down death by ethanol glycol. And, we didn't even know what ethanol glycol was, and I think my wife may have called someone and said it was a component of radiator fluid or whatever. She was just like stunned. I mean, just like, she couldn't understand it. How could he have gotten this? There was some indication from her that maybe he could have gotten this from work. He works with a lot of chemicals. He brings, there's chemicals all over him when he comes home from work. And that's when I agreed that I would look into it for her to see whether or not, what, and it may have been indicated that he did something called powder coating. Okay. And I said I'd look into it for her.
Did you have any knowledge of Matthew's occupation or work settings independently of what you learned from Holly?
No.
Did your wife, as an attorney, did she ever represent
My wife
Holly?
is not an attorney.
I'm sorry, because she works downtown?
She's a probation officer.
Oh, probation officer, okay. Did you ever have any conversations while you were representing Holly in the presence of a third party?
I don't know. I don't recall. There may or may not have been in front of my wife, but I don't recall. I can tell you this, and I will be honest with you. There was nothing that she told me, nothing in her behavior, nothing in her mannerisms that would have led me to think that she had anything to do with this at the time. I mean, it was so it was, I think that was one of the reasons why I was willing to help her, because in my mind it was so the thought that she would even have something to do with that was inconceivable to me, because I never heard anything bad about him. Either from her or from my wife. There wasn't any. She watched my son. There wasn't any indication from my son, although my son was still small, that there was any, or my wife, that there was any conflict in the house. So for her to have been involved in this, in my mind, was just not conceivable. And so we were looking to see how the hell could this have happened. And that's how we were looking into, maybe he got this from work.
So what would be your best guess as to the length of the representation, a beginning and an end part for her?
A couple of months. I know I sent her a letter telling her that I couldn't find anything, and that my representation of her was terminating because I couldn't find anything that stood for the proposition that you could be poisoned with ethanol glycol through powder coating.
Were you involved at all in the estate of Matthew Podolak?
No. Wasn't involved in it at all.
Where was your house on Archmere in proximity to
I think
Holly and Matthew's?
her house was maybe 2 or 3 houses down from us towards William Cullen Bryant School. About 2 or 3 houses down on the same side of the street.
Had you ever been over to their house?
Yeah, because again, she cared for my son. And so sometimes my wife picked him up, sometimes I picked him up.
I don't have nothing else to ask.
What year was your Dodge Colt?
I think it was a 92 or 93.
Still running?
No. I ran it into the ground. It was one of those, it was built by Toyota, but Dodge, it had the Dodge name on it. It just looked like a Toyota.
Toyota engine or something?
Yeah, but I put like damn near 200,000 miles on it before it finally fell apart.
You got your money's worth out of it then.
Mm-hmm.
When you sent the fax to the coroner's office, or made the phone calls first and then the fax, that was during the course of your representation of Holly?
But it wasn't. I was concerned that this guy could have been poisoned at work, and I had information that the coroner needed to know about. That he was involved in this process of powder coating.
Did you ever talk to the owner or the where Matthew Podolak worked, that factory that did the powder coating?
I may have had some conversation with him at some point in time about the life insurance, and he asked me to fax him something at maybe one point in time, but that was it.
Was there any conversation regarding your thoughts on the powder coating as being?
No, because at that point we'd reached the conclusion that it wasn't possible for him to have bbeen poisoned in that way. I'd gotten a letter from the Murrays saying they couldn't find anything. I looked and all the site on the internet. I may have even talked to a physician at one point in time, and all the information that I was getting was that you couldn't absorb it in enough quantity fast enough because your kidneys would just, be taking it out, so that it really wasn't possible. So at that point in time, there wasn't any point in discussing it because they just couldn't find anything.
And after finding out that it wasn't possible by way of the powder coating, did you have any concerns about how Matthew Podolak died?
I guess I don't know that I had concerns. I think it was more of a curiosity thing than anything else. You have to understand, again, with our relationship with her and my interaction with her, there was nothing there that would have led me to conclude that she had anything to do with it. And so, I'm thinking, well, maybe, he may have, I can't prove it. He may have gotten it work, but I can't prove it. I think that was more of my thinking at the time. He may have gotten it work, but you know what? There isn't anything I can do to prove it. So I think that was my thought process.
This Murray and Murray, what is it? Is it a father-son attorney?
They're a huge plaintiff's law firm in Toledo.
In Toledo?
No, in Sandusky.
Oh, it's Sandusky.
Yeah, Sandusky, Ohio.
Is it Murray?
Yeah, Murray and Murray.
Because there was a Murray in the prosecutor's office, wasn't there? What was his name?
Jim.
Jim?
That's how I knew him.
He was in the prosecutor's office and now he's out in Sandusky.
Yes.
And at the time when you were asking him to help or to do the study on the poison or whatever?
They had far more resources. They're one of the best plaintiff's injury firms in the state. They had tons of more resources to try to see if there was any kind of connection than I did. Mm-hmm. So my thought was, these people are the experts in personal injury. They do a lot of it, and they, have the connections with with whomever they can.
And Jim was a friend of yours?
Yeah.
So he did it he looked into it as a friend of yours?
I think there was understanding if there was anything possible that could be done that their firm might become involved. I think there may have been some, understanding of that.
You didn't have to pay him any money to do this?
No, he didn't. They didn't pay him anything.
Did you have any conversations regarding the the death of Matthew Podolak with other members of Holly's family?
No.
Did you have any conversations with any other members of Holly's family regarding your representation of her?
No.
Do you remember ever seeing this case in the media
No.
back then when it happened in the paper or on TV or anything?
I was in Texas. If it was something that was in the media, I wouldn't have seen it. But I never saw anything in the media about it.
Anybody from the Podolak family ever try to contact you?
No.
Okay, well, I don't have anything else. I don't know. All right, thanks a lot for coming in. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
No.
Holly McFeature's former boyfriend Patrick calls investigators, asking to speak to them again.
I'm not going to get into everything we discussed the last time because we already talked about it.
Right, absolutely.
So this is, you reached out to me
Absolutely.
because, just tell me your story. You reached out to me because of...
I reached out to you because as of us talking,
Mhm.
you know, I was an ex-boyfriend. I do have a good head on my shoulders, a county job, good family, good friends. And, you know, after talking to you and this, that, the other thing, I cut all ties with her whatsoever. Family-wise, everything. After talking to you, I was contacted by the media. I don't know how. And I
Who
just...
contacted you? You know?
Channel 19.
Somebody come to your house or call you on the
Ed
phone?
Gallick came to my parents' house, my house when I wasn't home, and he called and left a message at my parents' house in Parma, which is an unlisted number. I don't know how he got the number. So, and Channel 5 called me and left me 2 messages, and I just ignored it.
Okay, so you never spoke to the media
Never
yourself?
spoke to the media whatsoever. And then as of our last talking, I didn't talk to her. And then Sunday.
The last time that you came in here, which was
Um,
August 2nd.
Yes.
Okay,
And
so since then you've never called her?
never, nothing whatsoever.
Okay, let me just make a note of that. Since 8/2. Never called her phone?
No, not at all.
Never texted?
Do not believe so. I think right after that, I did receive a couple text messages from her.
So right after that, you did text her?
I think I texted her back that I did not want anything to do with her, but it was not on a relationship base.
You texted back to her?
Um,
So you're saying that she texted you first, and then you texted her back saying...
yeah, and this time I didn't text back whatsoever.
I'm back in August.
Yeah. I
You
just
were
said,
in here on
just
August
leave.
2nd.
I
You
just
never
said,
called
leave
her.
me alone. No.
She called you.
Mhm.
When she
I never
did, it was
reached
a
out to
text.
her. I never reached out to her whatsoever.
You texted back to her.
Leave me alone. Want nothing to do with you.
Okay, and that was back then.
Yes. And
And then,
then
did she leave you alone then up until...
pretty much so, yeah, absolutely. Like she's back on Facebook, and she was Facebook friends with a bunch of my friends and family members, and friends and family members would post stuff, and on Facebook you could like it or you could comment on it. And she's commented on some things like, you know, miss you guys, you know, and
Okay, so she has tried to reach out to you through Facebook?
not to me, my family and friends.
Not to you, though?
Not to me personally. No.
When you say your family, who are we talking about? Your parents?
My sister-in-law and mother. Which want nothing to do with this whatsoever, to be honest with you. They've been so upset for the last 3 months
on Facebook.
With all this. Yes.
Okay.
And Sunday morning, I wake up.
Past Sunday?
This past Sunday, the
Wednesday,
28th.
So 3-4 days ago?
The 28th.
Sunday, October 28th?
Yes. I'm going to give you the story behind this text message, first of all. And Holly was saving money for a vacation, and she would take quarters and put them in pill bottles, and which we all know she takes a lot of pills. So there was a ton of empty pill bottles, and she would put quarters in them, and the kids were caught stealing them multiple times. Okay. And there was one occasion when I was there when she caught her son stealing the quarters. She opened up, a kindergarten kid, you open up their book bag to see if they have homework, and she saw pill bottles in there with quarters in them. And he goes, "Oh, we just took them so we could buy snacks at school that day." So it was like Mother's Day weekend, and all the girls went to get the nails done, and her daughter couldn't get her nails done because she stole the money. So she was reprimanded. So Holly decides to tell my family and her whole family that were there at the nail salon that her kids are stealing from her again. This is not the first, second, third time. This is the first time I witnessed it, that they stole this. So Holly told my mother, my father, her whole family that was there, that the kids are stealing from her again.
How did she tell all these people on Facebook?
Because they were there getting their nails done.
Okay, so
it was
the same time when Holly was there.
Yeah, she was telling everybody.
Your mom was there.
My mom was there with her, and so was her sister.
They didn't go together though.
They all went together to get their nails done. It was a girls' thing, Mother's Day weekend.
Okay, back in Mother's Day.
Yeah,
okay.
Back in May, I think it is. And so I get this text message out of the blue on Sunday, and believe me, I have not contacted her since. And I get this text message that says, I only have one question. How could you live with yourself? I don't know anybody who could actually steal money from a single mother of 3, all those bottles of quarters. Okay? That was from her. I didn't respond.
Let me see.
Here.
I'll
pull it up. Pull it up, and then you can.
Okay. I only have one question.
Yes. So now she is accusing me of stealing from her.
How could you live
How could you steal from someone when
with yourself?
You haven't been to their house since July?
I don't know anybody who
could actually. I'll pull it up for you. Now, I have at least 3 witnesses saying that the kids have stole this multiple times, and that's from her mouth. So I don't respond.
Was that the end of that?
Yeah, that was the end of this.
That's what she sent you on Sunday, October 28th?
Yes. And
I
now
only have one question. How could you live with yourself? I don't know anybody who could actually steal money from a single mom of 3.
Right.
All those bottles of quarters.
Yes.
Okay.
Does it have a timer?
And we...
Sure. No. I'm here to help you guys out. Like I'm sick of all this shit.
And we know it's
9:30 in the morning
and we know it was sent from her phone.
from her phone
How do we know that?
because here's her phone number. Do you want her phone number?
Let me see where.
It says Holly right there.
Where?
Right there up on top.
Oh, at the top.
I will give you the phone number. I will click on it. Right here. Look. If you click on the name,
What's the number?
if you click on the name, look at the number.
Is that the same number she had?
Yes, and that's the same number I gave to you in
Right,
our interview.
Exactly.
Okay. This is from her sister Monday morning.
Monday, October 29th.
October 29th at 9:25 a.m.
So when that was sent to you, you never responded.
Never responded. So, you either respond and make people more pissed off, or they just leave you alone.
So
So,
Monday, you get this at what time?
9:25. This is her sister's phone number. I'll give it to you.
9:25 a.m.
Mhm. The phone number is. And, hello,
And the sister is what? What's her name?
Chrissy.
With the C?
Yes. And I have not talked to her since July.
Rissy.
Yeah.
Hello,
Pat.
Patrick.
This is Chrissy. You
You
need
need to
to
give.
give Holly her money back. Put it right there for you guys. You were the only person who knew where it was and where the key was. What it was, because her kids kept on stealing from her, she put a padlock on her bedroom door. I was the person that put the padlock on the door. Does it make sense? If you have younger juvenile kids and they're stealing from you when you're not there, I mean, there's many families that do that. Put a padlock on the door. You know what I'm saying? Mom and dad's rooms should be sacred. So if I'm here,
Okay.
there's more to the message. I gotta go.
Scroll up. We got to write it.
I gotta go on to the next page. You know the situation. Hold on a second. See everything.
You were the only person who knew where it was and where the key was.
Yes. You know the situation. You know the situation she is in. She can't work, so she really needs the money with multiple exclamation points. Seems like a cry for help. Really is all capitalized. You know? And look at the exclamation points.
If you don't
give her money back
don't give.
within 24 hours, I will have to go and make and there's another message after that.
If you don't give her money back. If you don't give her money back. Within 24 hours. I will have to go and make.
And I'll show you the last one. Police report. Thank you. TY is thank you. So I called the sister up because now this is the second message. I'm done with her.
Else? Is there any more messages?
One more from Holly. I'm gonna explain myself.
Okay.
So I'm here thinking I work for the county. They know I work for the county. If I have police reports on me, I get questioned. This, that, the other thing. They're seeing it as I'm a nice guy, which I'm sure from before you can attest that. I'm not a troublemaker. This, that, the other thing. And I think they're hard up for the money, which it was very hard for them to get the bond, from my understanding. And it's like it's blackmail. So I called the sister up because I thought that the sister was really level-headed. And I called her up and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like,
So you didn't send a message.
I called her at 9:30 that morning.
Okay, wait a minute.
After when I read
You
it.
called her on that Monday.
At 9:30, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes, Holly really needs $500, and she's claiming that you came and stole $500 worth of quarters from her. Way back when, or
Patrick,
whatever.
you called Chrissy on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I told her I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, I told her I don't know what you're talking about. I said, if you remember Mother's Day weekend, the kids were stealing the quarters, and she put them in a bag and hid them somewhere from her kids. And she goes, I'm telling you right now, you have the money, and she really needs the money, and she needs $500 right now. Well, you know what? I'm telling you right now, if somebody breaks into your car and steals change out of your car, what are the odds that you are going to know how much you have in your car? You know what I'm trying to say? Or if somebody steals a book of CDs, you're not going to know how many CDs you have.
I said, don't you remember Mother's Day with the kids taking the quarters?
Yes. And the one daughter, Samantha, being punished for it. And they were at the nail salon, and my mother was there, Chrissy was there, Holly was there. And she goes, all I'm telling you is there's going to be a police report made out in 24 hours if you don't give her money. Kind of like, you need to give her money.
She specifically said $500.
Yes.
She said you need to give her $500.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if $500 is to pay a lawyer fee. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's to pay bills so she doesn't get evicted before she leaves. I don't know. And this is the message from
All right, so, I mean, how does your conversation end with Chrissy?
Oh, she hangs up on me because I told her I'm not giving nobody any money for any reason. You know what? If I've never borrowed money in my life. My mom and dad are retiring after 30 years with the city of Parma. My brother's in charge of the airport. Don't you think if I, which I don't because I have a steady job, if I needed any kind of money whatsoever, I go to my mom and dad
You
first.
told her I'm not giving anything, and you hung up.
No, she hung up. She hung up.
Okay.
And then
Can I back up real quick?
yes.
When she said you need to give her 500, and then she said, all I'm telling you is that something about a police report.
You need to give Holly $500 or we're making a police report out on you. Well, as you know before, there was a false police report made out by a friend that's a Cleveland cop that decides to moonlight at Holly's house. And he made one false one out on me. I don't know in the last 48 hours if he's made out another one.
Okay, so she hangs up.
So she hangs up. I get a message from Holly. Again, this is the last message.
Same day on Monday?
Yes, Monday.
What time was this at?
This was at
Text from Holly.
yes, which I did not respond.
Okay.
12:49 p.m. Which she is like delusional because I don't even know what the hell she is
That was
talking
Monday,
about.
right?
Yes.
What does her text say?
It says, sorry, I lost trust in you.
You gotta write it down. So.
I will. I'll show it to you. And this is absolutely crazy. Nobody knows where she
I
is.
lost trust in you.
When your mother told me the truth about your house, you lied about, which nobody knows. I've always rented. I've never owned a house in my whole entire life.
When your mother told me the truth about your you lied about.
I'm 33. I've always
Right.
rented because I've been single. Owning a house as a single person is kind of a rough feat.
You brought your
You brought your duffel bag 2 times to my house to change clothes. This is how delusional this is. It all
You know.
makes, and I'll show you the next one. It all makes sense.
and no, I didn't hide it.
Now, if you remember the last time before she went to court, the first time she made a police report out a week before she went to court, and now she's doing it again.
And forget about it.
There was no reason to.
No reason to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I did file a police report. Back in July.
And another. I'll show you this next one. One will be made if you
And
don't come
another-
clean and just return what belongs to you.
Wait a minute, go back.
That's it.
So she just sent it with my children and.
And I.
Oh, okay.
So that's
So that was Monday.
all.
Did you answer that back?
No, because I have no reason to.
Yeah. And then you
You
haven't
know.
spoken to her since?
No. And you know what?
Right.
I hope that you guys have me as a character witness because she could lose her bond that way.
Okay. We're gonna talk to the city prosecutor. I'm gonna make out a police report for you as a victim.
Absolutely. And
Being,
you know, I don't want any
I'm gonna double
contact.
check before you leave to see if there's been any new reports made out in your name or her name
Okay.
or Chrissy's name.
I don't want any contact with her or her family.
And she knows that. I think the best thing you did was not to answer her again.
No, I answered her sister because you know what? We all have whole family members, but there's also that. I mean, that's her sister, and you would think like her sister and I always got along. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm gonna answer her because she's level-headed. She knows that her sister's crazy.
Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna
All
check
right.
the computer and see if there's anything in there.
Thank you.
You want to get some information?
Absolutely.
Do you have an ID on you?
Yes.
It'll make it easier.
I'm willing to help you guys out as much as I can and give you guys be a character witness for this crazy.
Is this current?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just got that a couple weeks ago.
Nice. Is your last name Arch?
Mhm.
Okay.
Nothing. No new police report in there. From Holly or Chrissy, and there's nothing in there with your name on it. You know?
Cool.
But Detective Grove is going to make out a menacing report for you. You can go to the prosecutor if you want to press charges.
I should.
That's up.
She's harassing me.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
it's,
You know, let's put her where she belongs.
Or just put it in
So
there.
give it a couple days for that to get in. I mean, you can go to the prosecutor next week. You can go 2 weeks from now. Or you can never go. It's up to you. You're the one that has to go. So it's on the
Would she be thrown back in jail for it?
if the prosecutor may issue a warrant on it.
Is it worth my time?
I guess it depends how much it's bothering you.
It's bothering my family.
I left a message for Prosecutor McDonough,
Mhm.
who was prosecuting her in the murder case.
Right.
Okay. If you want to talk to him first, that's fine too.
Where do
I left the word out for him.
How do I start this whole process?
I left a message with him today
Okay.
that you were coming in here.
Okay.
He did not call me back. He may be in a trial or something.
Okay.
So, give me a call tomorrow afternoon,
Okay.
and maybe by that time, Mr. McDonough will have called me back. I'll let him know what happened here
Okay.
and see how he would like to proceed with it. He may take this information and go back to the judge. They may revoke her bond and put her back in jail. I don't know.
I mean, she definitely has been told to leave me alone. So, I mean,
Well, I mean, what you're telling me is they're
I see
basically
it as blackmail.
blackmailing you here.
Because you know the situation, you know she can't work, she really needs the money. Then they're, saying that they're gonna make police reports out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
that's
like, you know what? If you were in a relationship, and you know what? How many relationships have you been and you've lost your favorite coat? Your this, that, or you spend hundreds of dollars on somebody and you lose a relationship. You see that is a wash. I mean, I've lost a couple $1,000 being in a 15-month relationship with her and her family. But, you know, I see it as, hey, I didn't marry the crazy, you know? So $500, this seems like weird. That seems like rent money. That seems like, you know, a lawyer
That's
fee.
a lot of quarters.
Dude,
She's saying that you
yeah.
stole quarters.
And who?
Where do you come up with $500?
Absolutely. And it's like, and it says, well, you had a duffel bag. Well, I need to change for work every single day. If I'm sleeping over, how many times have you slept over somebody's house and you bring a duffel bag
Yeah.
with you?
I mean, she's talking about a lot of quarters there, so.
So,
All right, we'll see what Mr. McDonough says. Give me a call tomorrow.
I'll give you a call. I would take a lie detector test. I would do anything. And even my mom would come in. I mean, she's so upset about it because she thought that this was done and over with. And now I just feel like she is menacing or blackmailing. Do you want me to sign anything to get this?
No, you don't,
Get
have
this
to,
going.
you don't have to do anything else.
Okay. And I'll call you tomorrow about.
Call me
2
tomorrow
o'clock.
afternoon, and
Okay.
hopefully I'll let you know what
Thank
Mr.
you.
McDonough says.
Hopefully she makes a mistake and she threatens me again. You know, hopefully that would be best case scenario.
She's a very unpredictable person, it seems, so I don't know what
Very
she's
much
going to
so.
do. So.
Very much so. Well, thank you guys.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Hey, no problem, sir.
I'm
All
sorry.
right, thanks for coming in.
I'm sorry. Is there a restroom on this floor?
In 2013, Holly McFeeture was found guilty of aggravated murder. She was sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole after 30 years.